Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. I, permanently add attributes, become a god. Chapter 41. As night falls, the 1,000-year-old imperial capital becomes completely different. The bustling daytime scene of the city is covered by a mysterious veil, replaced by a dazzling night. The entire imperial capital shines with countless lights at night. The ancient streets are lined with lanterns, and their colorful lights sway in the breeze, illuminating the narrow lanes and wide avenues. From any corner of the imperial capital, you can look up and see the glory of the palace. The glory of the emperor envelopes all the subjects of the imperial capital. And on the edge of the imperial capital, the streets that were getting further away were also filled with lights. Although the fringe areas of the imperial capital are not as lively as the bustling center, they still shine with their own glimmer of light. After a busy day, Liwa sorted the corrected documents into categories and put them in order. As the only one of the three beast warriors who works, he has to deal with a lot of things every day, but he enjoys it. Facing the floor-length mirror and looking at his neat black clothes, as well as his neatly styled bangs and ponytail, Liwa was quite satisfied. Even in the military camp, he would not wear a military uniform, but would be dressed similar to a butler. When Esdeath asked him to manage the army, the soldiers did not think that this gray-haired old man could manage it well. So what about the Taigu user? It is completely different from managing the army. But in the end, they all bowed to him. Many people I wonder where his management ability comes from. In fact, if you change the title to General Liwa, everyone will understand. It's just that no one connected the famous General Leva in the southern part of the empire with Leva, the servant who calls himself General Esdeath. From the moment he was rescued by Esdeath, the imperial soldier Leva was dead and would naturally no longer wear a military uniform. Sigh, I don't know when Lord Esdeath will come back. Before Lord Esdeath comes back, I will help her protect everything. Levi touched the ring on his hand and left the military camp. On the way home, Liwa found that there were a lot more pedestrians on the road, all hurried forward, and the temperature was getting higher and higher. He curiously asked the passers-by, "What's going on? Why are you all rushing forward?" I heard that in order to provide support for General Esdeath, who was fighting against the aliens in the far north fortress, some of the general's admirers paid a large sum of money to invite a troop from the entire imperial capital to perform the exploits of General Esdeath. All of them people can watch it for free, and one of the performance points is in front of it. Looking at the torches beside the road, it's called the 10 miles long lantern. I have to pray for General Esdeath all night long. Liva was suddenly curious. I didn't expect that the general has such loyal admirers and is willing to spend so much money to promote Lord Esdeath. It's just, actually, if the money can be discounted and given directly to the general, I think the general will be happier. Liwa knows very well that the general loves war to the core. She will not spend a penny on promoting herself. She doesn't care what the people think of her. Investing all the money in military expenditures and starting endless wars is her only goal. Guidelines. That's all, I'll go over and join in the fun. Liwa noticed that several barrels were placed at short distances from the torches on the roadside, with the words, "Please do not touch fire prevention materials," written on them. When I took a closer look, I found that a wooden barrel was open. When I touched it with my hand, it was clear water. Liwa nodded with satisfaction. It seems that the organizer is very capable. He has even taken care of the fire prevention details. He is a talented person. Let's see if there is a chance to recruit him to work for the general. After clapping his hands, Liva continued to walk forward slowly. In sharp contrast to the hurried passers-by on the road, he soon fell behind and was alone. But there was nothing he could do about it. As the strongest confidant of Esdeath in the Empire and a Taigu user, he had many powerful people fawning over him. He had seen all kinds of dramas praising Esdeath, and he couldn't be more familiar with them. Liwa, who was walking slowly, soon saw a decadent young man who stuck a sign on the ground and sat listlessly next to him. After glancing at Liwa, who was approaching, the young man lowered his head and said smoothly, "Just go forward to the dramatic point and follow the torch to the end." "Thank you." Liwa asked curiously, "What are you doing?" The young man muttered, "Oh, I don't know what the boss is thinking. Is there anyone who will go wrong while walking along the torch? I have to be here to guide you." "Indeed, but thank you for your guidance." "You're welcome." Levi said goodbye to the young man gracefully and moved on. Mark of revenge, water flow speeds up. Liwa, who had just turned around and was about to leave, suddenly felt a fatal murderous intention coming from behind. No, there's something wrong with this person. The experience of half a soldier's battlefield killings and the high bonus of obtaining the Imperial weapon, Water Dragon Possession Black Marin, made him react, and he immediately rolled down to avoid regardless of his appearance. The decadent young man Lin Chen secretly smacked his lips. It is indeed a water-controlling Taigu, and the intelligence bonus must be very amazing. But even if you avoid the vital point, how can you do it without paying a price? How can my sword be so easy to dodge? Hereby, the blade of the Qinghong sword passed across Liwa's back, leaving a gash nearly 10 centimeters deep and 2 centimeters deep, and blood flowed out uncontrollably. Liwa, HP, 81%. Energy, 930/930. Strength, 42. Agility, 52. Constitution, 43. Intelligence, 93. Charisma, 8. Skill 1. Proficient in military swordsmanship, very good at killing in military swordsmanship, swordsmanship power plus 50%. Skill 5. High-speed sword, the sword speed is permanently increased by 20%. Imperial equipment, Water Dragon Penny Black Malin. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial equipment, intelligence is increased by 1.5 times. Effect 2. Energy saving, usage consumption reduced by 50%. Effect 3. Water control, the liquid in the things it comes into contact with can be freely manipulated. Effect 4. Water bomb, control the water flow to form a water bomb attack, the power and number are related to intelligence. Effect 5. Serpent of the Abyss, stimulates the charm hidden in the Imperial equipment, and controls the water flow to generate the Serpent of the Abyss. Effect 6. Turbidity current gun, controls the water flow to generate a high-power turbidity current gun. Effect 7. Water Dragon Sky Sign, the ultimate secret, controls the water flow to generate a group of dragons to bite the target. Secret skill, blood knife killing, using one's own blood as a weapon. Note: Lin Chen's white quality binoculars cannot see the attributes of any Taigu user. The Taigu will exclude the observation of white reconnaissance equipment, let alone see the effect of the Taigu. Binoculars cannot so awesome. The white quality reconnaissance equipment can observe a little more than 50 points at most, and it will not exceed 60 points at most. The further it goes, the harder it is to cross the level. The white quality reconnaissance equipment can see the apprentice level, and the green can see the first level. Blue can be seen at level 2. Can't you even see the strength and agility? It seems that the high level of intelligence has blocked my observation. The reconnaissance equipment must be replaced as soon as possible. Lin Chen was speechless looking at the reconnaissance results full of question marks. 10 miles of lights, illuminated by thousands of torches, make the night look like day. Liwa embarrassedly dodged Lin Chen's backstab, and drew his sword behind him to block Lin Chen's follow-up attack, similar to the ancient Chinese swordsmanship, Su Qin Bei Jian. This was the first time someone had escaped Lin Chen's backstabbing weapon. Exquisite swordsmanship, quick reactions, at least 80 or even 90 points of intelligence. Lin Chen secretly admired him, but he would not stop drawing the sword in his hand. Taking advantage of the fact that it was difficult for him to exert force on the ground, Lin Chen's sword was faster than the other, and he pinned Liwa to the ground and beat him until he could not get up. Levi roared, "Water block bomb." He reluctantly stirred up the water in the nearest barrel and shot it directly at Lin Chen's head. At the same time, he blocked the Qinghong sword with his sword and took the opportunity to kick Lin Chen's abdomen with his legs. Lin Chen was not willing to fight, and would give up when he was ready. It was obviously impossible to expect him to be killed in one go. Liwa, the health value is 74%, which is a good effect. After all, this is a real world, not a computer game where you can be alive even if there is only one drop of blood left. The reality is that ordinary people will feel dizzy and uncomfortable even if they have a small cold. Lin Chen complimented casually, "You're pretty awesome, old man." Liwa held the long sword in his hand and gasped for air. Blood kept flowing from his back. The long sword was full of pits. Obviously, if he fought with the Qinghong sword a few times, the sword would be scrapped. But it doesn't mean much. If Lin Chen thought about it, Lin Chen had many ways to resist the water bullet and cut off the sword, but Liwa could use the water from the water bullet to protect himself at any time. The Taigu user's Taigu is his real weapon. Who are you? Night Raid. That's not right. Night raids only target corrupt powerful people and the wealthy class who do evil things. Why are you coming to kill me? Minister or someone else? Lin Chen slowly approached with his sword and chuckled. What does this have to do with anything? Now you and I can only live together, so let us use the sword to speak. Speak with the sword, then give it a try. With this imperial weapon given to me by the master, you can understand the power of the imperial weapon. Levi dropped the tattered long sword, and the ring on the middle finger of his right hand began to flash. With a wave of his right hand, all the nearby fire barrels were broken open, and a large amount of liquid flew out. It's now. Lin Chen seized the opportunity, and before Liwa could mobilize the liquid around him, 3 flash bombs were thrown towards Liwa in a square shape. Psychic shock. Choosing the right moment, Lin Chen activated his only control skill. With Liwa's will and intelligence, the mental impact could only exert a forced effect of 0.5 seconds. However, Shadow's teachings came to Lin Chen's mind. Lesson 2, as long as you control the distance, speed and strength are secondary. Lin Chen, as long as you seize the opportunity, there is no difference between 0.5 seconds and 5 seconds. Liwa didn't know it was a flash bomb at first. When he reacted with his high intelligence and wanted to close his eyes to avoid it, he was directly controlled by Lin Chen and was stunned by the flash bomb. No, the devouring snake is haunting. The vast expanse of white made Levi's heart sink. He covered his eyes and quickly activated the devouring snake of the Taigu's effect to protect himself. A large amount of liquid gathered towards Liwa under the control, forming a swallowing snake more than 10 meters long and tightly wrapped around Liwa. If Lin Chen wanted to break through the devouring snake's guard and attack Liwa at this moment, it would be impossible. After all, Lin Chen couldn't even cut off Liwa's fine iron sword at once. Once Liwa recovered, Lin Chen would facing a violent counterattack. Lin Chen was not as resistant as haunted by evil ghosts. He was now in a desperate situation and could either retreat now or fight to the death. Everything went as planned. Great. Lin Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Although he had rehearsed it hundreds of times in his mind, he was still a little nervous before he succeeded. Whether it was 3 flash bombs or mental shock, Lin Chen deliberately chopped off Liwa's sword just to be entangled by the snake of the abyss at this moment. Levi wrinkled his nose. No, the smell is wrong. Why is the smell of the abyssal snake so pungent? No, it's kerosene. The snakes of the abyss must be dispersed immediately. Liwa's face changed drastically, and he was surrounded by torches. Once the fire oil was ignited, his whole body would be entangled by the snake of the abyss. It's too late. No, the time is just right. The Molotov cocktail thrown by Lin Chen happened to hit the snake of the abyss, and the fire began to burn throughout the snake's body. Lin Chen looked at the flaming snake rising straight into the sky. It's so beautiful. Except for a few open wooden barrels that were filled with clean water, all the other wooden barrels were filled with kerosene. The kerosene content of the entire abyss snake was as high as 95%. Once it was ignited, the consequences would be. The shrill screams resounded through the sky, and residents of several streets could see the fiery snake in the sky, which then completely collapsed and ignited more than a dozen shops around it. The fire snake dissipated, leaving behind a burnt black corpse, and naked Levi lying on the ground silently. Lin Chen took his time and finally walked near Liwa. Don't lie down and play dead, General Leva. Even if the kerosene is ignited, it is still liquid before it is completely burned. Your Taigu can still be controlled. The best evidence is that you haven't been burned to ashes, and the blood flowing on the ground hasn't been burned yet. Blood is also a liquid, right? Liwa opened his eyes helplessly. Lin Chen was right. He is not dead yet. He has left a bottle of special desperate potion that can greatly increase the physical strength and make the blood become extremely poisonous. Once injected, he will die, undoubtedly. He survived temporarily by injecting medicine. Secret skill, blood knife kill. No matter what, Liwa still controlled the blood to deliver the final blow to Lin Chen. Brand died due to this move, and the male protagonist Tasmi inherited the haunted by evil spirits because of this. Lin Chen, who was already on guard, dodged without any pressure. It was a failure after all. How did you calculate it? I am convinced. Lord Esdeath, forgive me for not being able to accompany you any longer. Lin Chen didn't have the problem of explaining to the enemy, so he cut off Liwa's head with one sword. The key is that I didn't receive the park notification. Hint, you killed the 3 beast warriors Liwa. Tip, you got the treasure chest blue. Quote ? Quote. Why is there a blue treasure chest? Without having time to think about it, Lin Chen used his gloves to take off the ring on Liwa's right hand, and took out water to wash away all the remaining poisonous blood of Liwa on it. Tip, you have obtained the Taigu Water Dragon Possession Black Malin. Tip, Taigu is an important prop in the world. Finally got it, this old guy wants to trick me even though he's dead. Elivar's loyalty to Esdeath, when he thinks about the fact that there is an unknown assassin who may do evil to Esdeath after his death, although he believes that with Esdeath's strength, even if he is calculated like him, it will not matter. He would be defeated. There was a hidden danger after all. He still wanted to take Lin Chen away with him. Slip away, if you don't leave, the security team will come. Lin Chen collected the loot, left Liwa's body behind, and left the scene easily under the cover of night. Returning to the hotel where he rented, he tightened the curtains and Lin Chen lay on the bed in the shape of big characters. Looking at the chandelier on the ceiling, Lin Chen scratched his head. If he was physically tired yesterday, he is mentally tired today. With Lin Chen's strength, confronting Liwa head-on would, to put it bluntly, lead to death. Lin Chen's 3 major attributes are nothing more than 50 points. Although Liwa's strength and physical attributes are slightly different, his agility is faster. The physical fitness of the two can be said to be half a catty to half a pound. When it comes to swordsmanship, the two are at the same level, but Liwa's intelligence is much higher than Lin Chen's, and his reaction speed and perception are both higher than Lin Chen's. It's like 2 people fighting against each other in CSGO. When they meet, they can shoot each other in seconds. Either their marksmanship is not good, or their reactions are simply slower than the opponent's. If Lin Chen knew that Liwa's intelligence was as high as 93 points, and then looked at his own 26 points, he would be glad that he didn't challenge Liwa to a sword fight. Lin Chen's only advantage is the Qinghong sword, but in this game world, the Qinghong sword is at the level of a ministerial weapon, and even worse than a ministerial weapon. After all, the ministerial weapon is also built with the full strength of the empire. Imperial tools. 400 years after the founding of the empire, the emperor at that time also tried to make imperial weapons, but he was unable to surpass the previous weapons. He only produced some weapons that were inferior to the imperial weapons. For this reason, the emperor regarded them as a shame. They ridiculed these weapons as devices. Facing Liwa's most important battle power imperial weapon, Water Dragon Pony Black Marin, Lin Chen would definitely die miserably. Sometimes, the strength is to be weaker than the enemy. Face your own weakness. There are not so many things in the world where the weak can defeat the strong by temporarily exploding. Eliminating the gap in strength through strategies and even defeating the enemy is truly powerful. Lin Chen first took a large amount of money from the corrupt dignitaries of the imperial capital. It is estimated that the wanted order for the mysterious thief will be spread throughout the imperial capital tomorrow. Then they spent a lot of money to invite a theater troupe to perform, and applied for venues and reports to the Imperial Guard and the Imperial Management Office. Faced with Lin Chen's slogan, "Promote the achievements of General Esdeath," no one would object. With a lot of gold stuffed in, it was very easy to pass. Even if the minister knew it, he wouldn't care. He knew that Esdeath would not oppose his rule at all, and there was no threat at all. Whatever the 10-mile-long lantern is, do whatever you want. No matter how much you steal or use money to get a large amount of kerosene, when faced with the inspection by the security team, it will still be settled with money. If you stuff enough money, people won't even look at what's in your bucket. It has to be said that in this imperial capital that has been rotten to the core, there is nothing that money cannot settle. Just like that, the stage was set for Liwa's careful preparation. When Liwa came to this stage, Lin Chen first had to put enough death pressure on him, overwhelming him with violent attacks such as wind and rain to make him breathless. When Liwa finally got away, Lin Chen deliberately reminded Liwa that only one of them could survive tonight, either you die or I die. In this way, when Lin Chen's flash bomb took effect, Liwa was forced by Lin Chen's series of deaths. If there is a threat, you will definitely choose to use Taigu to defend. And Lin Chen wanted to kill Liwa, but Liwa didn't want to kill Lin Chen. Snake of the Abyss is the only move that Leva has shown in the plot that is both offensive and defensive. Once the defense is successful and the eyes are restored, Leva can use this to instantly counterattack. The Snake of the Abyss is the last of Lin Chen's many plans. The biggest weakness of the Taigu is the Taigu user. With the help of the power of the Abyss Snake, he can defeat the opponent instantly without giving the opponent a chance to use the Taigu. This was Lin Chen's plan, to use the weak to attack the strong. As for the surrounding houses that were set on fire, Lin Chen had already spent money to buy them, and had people insulate them from the fire. At most, more than a dozen houses were burned to ashes, and there was no other place to burn. The money was spent. When you're done, just go to the rich man's house to borrow some. It can be said that everyone is happy tonight, others have gained money, Lin Chen has gained the Taigu, and Mr. Liwa no longer has to work overtime. Lin Chen rubbed the blue dragon head ring in his hand. Water Dragon Pony Black Malin. Place of origin, cut crimson eyes. Quality, purple. Category, ring. Durability, none. Attack power, 125 to 145, varies with intelligence. Equipment requirements, intelligence above 50 points, tacit understanding up to standard. Rating, 150, purple extreme. Equipment effect 1. Imperial Equipment Blessing, intelligence increased to 1.5 times, cannot exceed 200 points. Equipment effect 2. Energy saving, usage consumption is reduced by 50%. Equipment effect 3. Water control, you can freely manipulate liquids and things you come into contact with. Equipment effect 4. Water bomb, control the water flow to form a water bomb attack, the power and number are related to intelligence. Equipment effect 5. Snake of the Abyss, stimulates the charm hidden in the Imperial equipment, and controls the water flow to generate the Snake of the Abyss. Equipment effect 6. Turbid current gun, controls the water flow to generate a high-power turbid current gun. Equipment effect 7. Water Dragon Tianzhong, the ultimate secret, controls the water flow to generate a group of dragons to bite the target. Introduction. One of the 48 Imperial equipment of the Thousand-Year Empire, the Imperial equipment of the Ring, is made from the organs of dangerous aquatic creatures that control water flow. The wearer can freely control the liquid in the things it comes into contact with. Note: Taigu is a core item in the game world and cannot be brought back to the World Game Park. So strong. Lin Chen looked at the trophy in his palm, but it was a pity that he couldn't use it. It seems it can only be used to add task settlement. After taking Water Dragon Pony Black Malin back into the storage space, Lin Chen touched the ring on his hand and suddenly had a bold idea. The Imperial tool of the ring is also a ring-type prop. If Lin Chen shook his head and planned to wait until he returned before messing around again. Take out the blue chest dropped by Leva. Paradise, why does it drop a blue treasure chest? Aren't the apprenticeship stages most likely to drop green treasure chests? Tip: the World Game Park has never said that only green treasure chests can be dropped in the apprenticeship stage. It seems like I never said that. Lin Chen tried his best to think back and found that there were no regulations in this regard. This was just a well-known thing. Tip: when a player obtains a max rating in the apprenticeship stage, the world he or she experiences has a certain chance of dropping a blue treasure chest. Because few people get max level ratings, over time everyone has formed a routine. Lin Chen suddenly realized, it seems that the max level score is very special. Lin Chen thought thoughtfully. Hint: you opened the treasure chest blue. Tip: you have obtained soul fragments small. Tip: you have obtained the abyssal snake scroll blue. Tip: you got 2000 game coins. Ah, soul fragment. Ah, the abyss snake scroll is still of blue quality. Lin Chen couldn't believe his eyes. Not only did his first blue treasure box reveal a precious soul fragment, you should know that the blue treasure box only had a chance of yielding soul fragments. There was even a spell scroll that was the same as yesterday's ice cone spell scroll. This is the happiness of permanently +1 luck. The unboxing experience is really good. Lin Chen is very happy. Soul fragment, small. Effect: a precious treasure with various incredible functions. Scroll of the Serpent of the Abyss. Place of origin: cut crimson eyes. Quality: blue. Category: Consumables. Number of uses: 1/1. Requirements for use: Intelligence is above 20 points, and there is liquid around for manipulation. Rating: 61. Blue quality rating is 31 to 70. Effect: Summons the phantom of the Imperial Water Dragon's possession Black Marin, and uses it to generate an abyssal snake. The duration is 3 minutes. The power is 70 plus user's intelligence, 3 intelligence. The maximum limit is 100 points of intelligence. Introduction. One of the special skills of Taigu user Riva is to summon an abyssal snake, which can be used offensively or defensively. Whether as a thug or cannon fodder, the abyssal snake is outstanding. Lin Chen couldn't put it down while holding the scroll. With this, Lin Chen could temporarily summon an abyssal snake with similar strength to him. The effect when Lin Chen used it was 78 points of intelligence instead of Li was 93 points, and do justice to the enemy. 2 against 1. If this were to be put on the trading market, it would definitely drive people crazy. With this scroll, what boss can't be killed? What game world can't be penetrated? Not everyone's game difficulty is the same as Lin Chen's. Most players are competing with bosses whose highest attributes are around 50 points. Lin Chen whispered, "What's the difference between this and the frost wolves I just killed yesterday?" Captain Oka of the Imperial City Guard led his men to the messy scene. He was drinking flower wine in the flower street near the palace, and accepted bribes from some wealthy businessmen to help them escape the sanctions of the law. "Oops, Captain Oka, it's on fire." His confidants hurried in, interrupting his interest in drinking. Oka frowned slightly. He still had to come to him for such a trivial matter. "We are the Imperial Guard, not a civilian fire brigade. You can just handle this trivial matter yourself." "No, Lord Oka, it's the fire over Shili Changdang, it's such a big fire." Oka instantly understood that someone had just spent a lot of money to get him a 10-mile-long lantern today and made a huge sum of money, which impressed him deeply. "Assemble the team members quickly. There is no way the Imperial City Guard will let go of any hidden dangers in the Imperial City. It seems that God asked me to make another huge sum of money today, but it actually caught fire. That's not okay." Oka decided to find Lin Chen and charge him a severe fee. After surveying the scene, Sai Lu reported, "Captain Oka, except for one person who was beheaded, there are no casualties among the people, and only a dozen houses were damaged." Oka praised loudly. "Very good, the Imperial Guard must have this kind of response speed. Only in this way can the people be protected from evil. We must bring the criminal who dared to commit the evil act of beheading in the Imperial capital to justice as soon as possible." Sai Lu admired. "Yes, Master. You dare to commit such a crime in the Imperial capital. This is the greatest contempt for justice." Oka couldn't help but nodded. "Yes, Seliu, that's what you have to do. Keep it up and stick to your own justice." Although Oka himself is a complete evil person, the apprentice he trained, Seliu, insists on absolute justice. Maybe it was the guilt deep in his heart. In fact, Oka once wanted to pursue justice in his heart, but in the end he bowed his head in front of reality. "It's great to be young." Oka looked at the energetic Seliu, smiled dumbly, shook his head and began to examine the body of the beheaded man. "This is Lord Leva. It's over, something big happened." Oka vaguely recognized the identity of the beheaded person. It was Leva, one of the 3 beast warriors. Oka's expression was ugly. He didn't want to face General Esdeath's accountability. Whenever he thought of that woman, he would feel chills in his heart. Even though he is the captain of the Imperial City Guard, he has no right to speak in the Imperial City. Almost all nobles can step on him. For example, Miss Arya, you can just let him be all over the Imperial capital early in the morning. What kind of night attack members are wanted? Can you not know whether it is night attack Oka? They are clearly just foreigners who accidentally escaped. The Imperial City Guards about foreigners. Oka's desk could be filled with reports of missing persons. But there is nothing Oka can do. As long as he has some rights, he will not scrape money from the vendors every day, and most of them have to be handed over. He knows in his heart that he is just a dog raised by the powerful. If he disobeys, he will change it. Although he handed over the bribes and wealth he received on time and in quantity every month, and could barely be considered a minister, the minister would never offend Esdeath for him. The most likely thing would be to change the captain of the guard force. Oka suddenly became serious. His life was at stake, and he began to handle the case seriously. After working for a long time, Oka finally roughly restored the sequence of the assassination. First of all, Mr. Liwa came out of the military camp, walked here and was attacked from behind. Oka came to the place where Lin Chen had made the sneak attack, and there were traces of Liwa's blood on the ground. Secondly, after Mr. Liwa distanced himself and came to the place of death, he was burned because he controlled the fire or oil for unknown reasons, and was then beheaded. Oka discovered that the barrel was full of the smell of kerosene, and based on the screams heard by the surrounding people, he roughly restored the assassination process. The Taigu user who had the ability to control water dragon pony Black Marin, was eventually burned to death and was beheaded to take away the Taigu. This is very strange no matter how you look at it. I was tricked. Oka's hands and feet were cold. Whether it was kerosene or site application, Oka himself accepted bribes and nodded in agreement. When this matter was finally investigated, he was the first person to be arrested. He never imagined that these would be used to assassinate Liwa. A huge black pot was thrown at him, and Oka's eyes darkened. The 1.9-meter strong man wanted to pass out and never wake up on the spot. He was clearly feeling comfortable drinking flower wine, so he came here late at night just to make a fortune, but he found that where fortune was concerned, it was clearly life-threatening. What's Oka's status? Captain of the Imperial City Guards. Any dignitary in the Imperial City can step on him. What is Leva's status? One of the 3 beast warriors, a confidant of the strongest General Esteth in the Empire, and the leader of General Esteth's forces in the entire Imperial capital. He himself is also an Imperial gear user and is sought after by countless dignitaries. To put it bluntly, Oka couldn't even be ranked as giving a gift to Leva. No, we must save ourselves. Regardless of whether we can find the assassin, we must first stabilize the minister to avoid being abandoned directly. Oka began to calculate the wealth he had collected over the years, and then involved others. Lin Chen did not just bribe the Oka family. Oka's eyes turned red. No one can escape from such a big matter, everyone has to pay. Hey, what are you doing, Captain Oka? I finally found you. A male voice interrupted Oka's thoughts. Oka turned around and found a man dressed as an attendant looking at him with a bad expression. Oka secretly cried out, "This is the attendant of Miss Arya's family. What does this young lady have to do?" According to Miss Arya's order, the arrest warrants for the 2 members of the night raid that were wanted this morning have been cancelled. Miss Arya does not want to see the warrants again tomorrow. Oka's expression turned ugly. What kind of madness was this? This was such a mess. What's the reason for this? Wasn't this just posted in the morning? What does the eldest lady's matter have to do with you? If you don't hurry up and do something, if the eldest lady sees you tomorrow morning, you will be dead. Seeing the attendant leaving without looking back, Oka's face turned ugly and as heavy as water. Oka punched the wall and swore secretly, "They all look down on me, right? One day I will definitely stand at the top of power." Seliu was attracted by the sound of smashing the wall. "Master, are you okay?" Oka adjusted his mood and said, "It's nothing, I just think this criminal is too rampant, and my justice can't wait to arrest him immediately. By the way, Seliu, do you still remember the wanted notice I posted with you this morning?" "Remember, what's wrong? These 2 night raid members are too evil." Oka said sheepishly, "Can you please make another trip to tear it off? I just got the information that these 2 people are innocent. It was a false alarm. We can no longer let wanted posters be posted on them to wrongly accuse good people." "Thank you very much. How could it be possible? There are 2 less evil people in the world. It's too late for me to be happy. Let's go, Xiao Ke. After this trip, I'll treat you to a supper. How about 5 death meals?" Seliu quickly set off, his orange horse tail swaying as he ran, with a cute white puppy hanging on it. Seliu Jubikitas. HP, 100%. Energy, 310 Strength, 40. Agility, 46. Constitution, 87. Intelligence, 31. Charisma, 8. Skill 1. Combat proficiency. Oka's disciple is very good at fighting, and the fighting effect is increased by 20%. Skill 2. Firearms proficiency. The power and speed of firearms are increased by 25%. Skill 3. Turn the spinning stick into a gun. The spinning stick has been modified and can be turned into a firearm. Skill 4. Human body modification. A large number of human body modifications were carried out. The list of modifications is: arm modification. Imperial equipment. Warcraft transformation 100 armed giant. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial equipment, physical fitness is increased to 1.5 times. Effect 2. Space storage. There is a space for storage in the belly. Effect 3. Command * size change. You can freely change body shape. Effect 4. Command * to prey. Launch a prey, and try to devour the opponent. Effect 5. Command arm to transform into a pair of powerful arms. Effect 6. Command crush, swinging both fists rapidly with the intention of crushing the opponent. Effect 7. Indestructible core. Until the core is destroyed, the entire Taigu will continue to be reborn. Secret skill. Violence. After becoming violent, the ability will be greatly increased. During the day, when Lin Chen was still buying ice cream in the commercial street, at this moment, on the outskirts of the imperial capital, a carriage was driving along the official road. Suddenly, there was a sudden tremor, and the frightened horses kept neighing. Boom, boom, boom. A huge black shadow emerged from the front of the carriage, with blood-red eyes and two red ribbon-shaped beards fluttering in the wind. The body that is more than 10 meters tall, the dark reflective armor, and the two pliers as big as the carriage, all of this makes the passengers on the carriage have a pale complexion. Earth dragon, how come there is an earth dragon here? Facing the dark shadow that shrouded the entire carriage, the passengers looked desperate and confused. Too long. HP, 100%. Energy, 130 130ths. Strength, 60. Agility, 43. Constitution, 60. Intelligence, 13. Charisma, 4. Skill 1. Dragon Bloodline. The Earth Dragon has weak dragon bloodline, power plus 20%, strength plus 20 points, constitution plus 10 points. Skill 2. Level 1 Dangerous Species, constitution plus 10, recovery ability increased moderately. Skill 3. Earth Armor. Long-term activities underground create a hard carapace. Earth Attribute Resistance plus 100%, physical defense plus 30 points. Skill 4. Escape. The Earth Dragon can escape in the earth, speed plus 100%. Skill 5. Brutal. The Earth Dragon is good at using its double pincers to dismember its opponent. The Earth Dragon roared loudly and excitedly waved its large pincers to grab the prey. It couldn't wait to try these little cuties. At this moment, too late, a long sword passed through the void, and the large pliers in Tulong's right hand snapped in response. Is it a first-level dangerous Earth Dragon? It has no shortcomings when it comes to being my opponent. A young man swung his sword to shake off the blood and murmured. Tasmi. HP, 100%. Energy, 800 800ths. Strength, 44. Agility, 57. Constitution, 63. Intelligence, 80. Charisma, 9. Talent. Born genius. Physical fitness will increase over time, and natural spirit is far beyond ordinary people. Skill 1. Proficient in all kinds of weapons, thousands of changes, with one mind, the weapon learning efficiency is greatly improved, the current effect is the power of sword weapons plus 50%. Skill 2. Fast sword, sword speed increased by 20%. Skill 3. Cross slash, swing the weapon quickly to strike. Skill 4. Sunshine affinity, human favorability plus 10 points, significant effect on certain groups of people. Skill 5. Blacksmithing proficiency, an excellent blacksmith. Skill 6. People who are protected by the world, their luck will be permanently plus 5. Skill 7. Savior, turn the tide from falling, support the building before it collapses, the more dangerous the situation, the faster the strength will grow. If Lin Chen saw these skills, he would definitely be envious and salivate. Master of all martial arts, professor of the world, savior, these are all magical skills. There are also the attributes of Tasmi and the imperial equipment obtained by Lin Chen himself. We can roughly infer the attributes of the Taigu user. Apart from the degree of compatibility, the most important thing to get the approval of the Taigu is to have an attribute that exceeds the upper limit of 50 points. For example, Leva's intelligence attribute was at 62 points before there was no bonus. For example, haunted by evil spirits, should require a physical constitution of 50 or above, but intelligence is required to evolve. Lin Chen speculated that Brand was not able to evolve due to insufficient intelligence and was unable to improve in strength. The two great axes Belvac of the three beast warrior datas has a strength of over 50 points. The higher the corresponding innate attributes, the stronger the imperial equipment will be after adding it. Like datas, Lin Chen suspected that this guy's strength was just over 50 points, which was pitifully weak. Tu Long was quickly attracted by this young man and attacked Tasmi fiercely. I got angry, but it's over. Tasmi jumped up to avoid the attack, and used the power of her fall to kill the earth dragon with a crisp cross cut. Tu Long fell down with blood spurting all over his body. That's awesome, boy. He actually defeated a dangerous species alone. The two people on the surviving carriage quickly praised him. Tasmi's face was red and her whole body was in a state of confusion. Isn't this a matter of course? As long as you leave it to me, it won't be easy to defeat that guy. By the way, my name is Tasmi. My name will be resounding throughout the imperial capital in the future, so you'd better remember it. The two of them looked at each other in confusion as they watched Tasmi floating up. Someone asked in a low voice, "Is it possible that you want to make a living in the imperial capital?" Tasmi replied without hesitation. Yes, getting ahead in the imperial capital is the romance of country people. The middle-aged uncle smiled bitterly and said, "The imperial city is not the dream-like place you imagined." Another person added, "Although it is very lively, there are also many monsters more ferocious than this earth dragon." Tasmi was confused. What, are you saying there are still dangerous species on the streets? It's human. Although he looks human on the outside, he is a monster on the inside. The imperial capital is full of people like that. When the uncle thought of those powerful people, he felt a chill deep in his bones. The two of them fled the imperial capital because they were so persecuted that they could no longer survive. Their luggage was on the carriage. Tasmi smiled slightly. "Thank you for your advice, but now, how can I back down? We want to make a lot of money in the imperial capital to save the village. It seems as if the oath to leave the village is still ringing in my ears. Now that the matter has come to this, we can only move forward." Wow, so awesome. Is this the imperial capital? Tasmi stood on the street and looked at the imperial palace in the distance with a look of amazement. You must quickly go to the military camp and sign up to join the army. Military registration point. Do you want to be a soldier too? Then fill out the information first and then give it to me. Tasmi held the registration form and fell into deep thought. Does this mean I should start as a soldier? The person in charge held his chin and replied casually, "Isn't this natural?" Tasmi slapped the registration form on the table. "I'm not that leisurely." He pulled out his long sword and said to the person in charge, "Look at what I am capable of. If it comes in handy, at least let me be a captain first." The person in charge couldn't bear it anymore. "Get out." "What? At least let me try." "Are you kidding? The current recession is so bad that there are so many people who want to be soldiers. We even have limited positions for soldiers." Tasmi realized something was wrong. "Is that so? If you understand this, get out of here, you brat." Tasmi, who was driven out into the street, was petrified. In an ideal world, one would succeed in one's studies and show off one's abilities, but in reality, it is very similar to the job hunting situation of college students who have just graduated this year. "Hello, it seems you are confused, young man." Tasmi looked up and saw a pair of huge, milky white, blonde-haired elder sisters looking at him. "Sister, come and help you." Tasmi couldn't move his eyes away, and he was penetrated by the football. "This is the imperial capital?" Leonai asked doubtfully. "What's wrong with you? Young man, you may have come from out of town to pursue romance in the imperial capital. How do you know? After living in the imperial capital for a long time, it's easy to distinguish outsiders. Also, I know a way to become an official quickly." Leonai said seductively. "Real, want me to teach you?" "Aha," Leonai said happily. "Then treat my sister to dinner." Tasmi was like a clear fish, broken by Leonai's football and words, and couldn't wait to take the bait with the money. In the tavern, Tasmi was speechless as she looked at the woman who was eating his food crazily. "It's great to drink during the day. You drink too, boy." Between these, you should teach me how to become an official first. Well, it's all about connections and money. Sister, I have an acquaintance in the army. As long as I give him some money, he can become an official immediately. Tasmi suddenly realized that this was the case. He took out all the money he had and handed it to Leonai. Is this enough? Enough is enough, Tasmi said proudly. These are the bounties I earned from hunting dangerous species on the road. It's pretty awesome. If you go in like this, you'll be the captain directly. Please. Leonai waved his hand and said, you can learn a lot from meeting me, young man. I'll go talk to you, just wait here. Yes. The boss looked at the two people waving goodbye to each other and thought it was outrageous. You don't even know the names of these two people. Naturally, Tasmi waited for a day, from the tavern to the roadside, and finally slept on the roadside, which was all his belongings. Tasmi was lying on the side of the road cursing. I'm so stupid, really, why did I believe that guy who was against the bear, not that woman? Parking. The gentle and enthusiastic eldest daughter Arya saw the stranger lying on the street and couldn't bear the cold. Lucky Tasmi will welcome his second beautiful woman. With his gentle and considerate words, Tasmi once again believed that there are good people in the imperial capital, and he and Arya went home. In modern terms, a college student who just graduated this year went through a job interview, and then suffered an electric bombing in northern Myanmar. Now he is on his way to Myanmar. It can only be said to be a very fulfilling day. Thank you very much for taking me in. So it turns out that I want to stand out in the imperial capital and save the village. The Arya family felt that this sentence seemed familiar, as if they had said it yesterday. Arya, did Tasmi come to the imperial capital alone? No, there are 3 people, and 2 companions, one named Seu and one named Iis, Arya's family was elated when they heard that this Tasmi was actually the accomplice of the 2 who escaped. What is this, surrendering into a trap? After Tasmi said goodbye and went back to the room to rest, Arya laughed crazily. If you fall into my hands, I will torture you to death. No, you can't mess up so easily. I want Tasmi to fall in love with me, and then torture him with my own hands. I just want to see his innocent expression. Let Mom participate when the time comes. I want to record everything. Arya suddenly remembered something. Hurry up and cancel all the wanted orders, so that Tasmi won't see any flaws tomorrow. Tell Oka to take down the wanted notice immediately. I don't want to see a wanted notice tomorrow. Yes, miss. As long as Tasmi is in hand, Seu, can you run away? Ha ha ha. Lin Chen put away the day's harvest, looked at the night view of the imperial capital outside the window, and smiled. I think Tasmi has also met Miss Arya. I don't know if this honest girl will be irritated by Arya. Just hang him up and beat him. All in all, Lin Chen slept peacefully. Didi. The alarm clock rang at 8 o'clock on time, and Lin Chen got up. If possible, Lin Chen will try to go to bed early and get up early, insist on sleeping for 8 hours every day, and never leave fatigue until the next day. After eating the breakfast provided by the hotel, Lin Chen went out. Today's work is, the library. Lin Chen drank the drink he just bought and passed by Captain Oka, whose eyes were red. Good morning, Captain Oka. Lin Chen waved in a friendly manner, and Oka nodded in response. Captain Oka has been looking for the assassin for almost 10 hours. Oka gave all his wealth to the minister before he got the promise. If you find clues to the assassin or capture the assassin within half a month, you can forget the past. If there is no news in half a month, report it to General Esteth yourself. If in normal times, if friendly citizens asked him to say hello, he would respond politely, but not now. Hello, did you see anyone acting suspiciously last night? Or an assassin or something like that? Lin Chen frowned and tried to recall. I'm sorry, Captain Oka, I swear I didn't see these people last night. Sorry for disturbing you. Oka called to the security team to quickly ask for the next one. It seems that Captain Oka is busy with work. Lin Chen shook his head. Lin Chen is also a busy person. Today he must seize the time to go to the library. We're here. Is this the Imperial Royal Library? Lin Chen sighed as he looked at the hundreds of meters high building. The 1,000-year-old library is a magnificent and mysterious building, standing in the long river of time. Its towering walls seem to tell stories of the past, and its thick stone pillars carry the accumulation and inheritance of knowledge for thousands of years. It is like a treasure house of knowledge, carrying the accumulation of time and wisdom. I heard that the founding emperor presided over its construction. With the efforts of successive emperors, the Imperial Royal Library has the most complete and richest knowledge in the continent. The secrets of the world gather here. The founding emperor of the empire. Lin Chen showed his ID to enter. This was something Lin Chen had already inquired about. Originally, only the royal family, nobles, and famous scholars were allowed to enter the Imperial Library, and the management was strict. But in the current corrupt imperial capital, everything can be solved with money, and Lin Chen easily entered it as a famous scholar. The Imperial Royal Library is deserted and deserted. Countless pieces of knowledge that people regard as treasures lie on the bookshelves gathering dust. I didn't expect that there are still young people interested in these collections of books. An old voice sounded from behind Lin Chen. An old man in his 70s said this. Lin Chen said without hesitation, "Of course, the greatest wealth in the imperial capital is this library. In my eyes, these are much more valuable than gold." The old man was noncommittal, and he thought so too, but the upper echelons of the empire had not allocated funds to the Imperial Royal Library for a long time. These books were maintained by him and some scholars who would come here on weekdays. "Is there any information you were looking for? I am the administrator of the Imperial Royal Library and have been here for 50 years. I know all about the books here." Lin Chen was overjoyed. It would be much more convenient to have someone he knew well, otherwise he would have to find the monkey ear, horse and moon all by himself. "Old man, do you know about the secret spring? It is said that the secret spring can heal all injuries." The old man took a deep look at Lin Chen. "Although I don't know where you heard this news, I happen to know." Lin Chen breathed a sigh of relief. There really is a secret spring. In the anime, Black Eyes, who possesses the imperial weapon, March of the Dead, 8 rooms will be a powerful enemy in the night attack. In the anime, her sister Red Eyes kills him. Lin Chen listens. It is said that in the comic version, Black Eyes did not die, but found a secret spring and healed his injuries and survived. In the 1,000-year history of the empire, there is nothing that the empire does not know. All the secrets of this continent are recorded here. As the founding emperor of the empire said, the mysteries of the world gather here. The old man led the way while telling the history of the empire. "This is it." The old man pointed to the books on the bookshelf. Travel notes on the Holy Spring, Secret Spring. Holy Spring, the place of immortality. Lin Chen expressed his gratitude to the old man. "Is there anything else you need my help with? I'm also very interested in taigu and dangerous species. I heard that the Empire's 48 taigu are made of super dangerous species." Haha, many taigu are indeed made of super dangerous species, but not all of them. For example, the material of water dragon pony black marin is only a super dangerous species. It is made of a super dangerous swordfish material. This swordfish can control the water flow to accelerate while swimming. And the silk threads of the taigu's alien changing cross tail are made from the body hair of a super dangerous species that is said to live in the clouds in the East China Sea. They are not only strong, but also extremely sharp. The strongest one among them is called the boundary break thread. Its toughness is far superior to other silk threads. The super dangerous species, Yunzhonglong, with a body hundreds of meters long, can go up to the sky and into the sea, and is omnipotent. Its body hair is the toughest and sharpest material in human history. Historians have always been curious about how the empire came to be. If you catch a cloud dragon, even its hair is not damaged, and the other materials of its body are used to make some kind of imperial equipment. That dragon in the clouds is the only one captured by the empire in thousands of years. The old man told Lin Chen these unknown histories. It was obvious that the old man had a high level of research on this matter. Sorry, people always like to talk more when they get older. The records related to taigu and dangerous species are all on the 3rd floor. If you want to see anything, you can go there to find it. The old man stopped talking and realized that he had been talking for an hour without knowing it, and he felt embarrassed. Lin Chen naturally wouldn't mind this. What the old man was talking about was the knowledge that ordinary players crave for. Ordinary players do not have Lin Chen's advantage in anime plots, such as Water Dragon Pony Black Malin. If they hear the old man say that it is an organ made by a special dangerous swordfish to control water flow, they can easily deduce that the Taigu water dragon Pony Black Marlin's ability must be related to controlling water flow. Although he cannot know all the moves like Lin Chen, it is still a lot of information. Players who can't even collect intelligence well are not qualified to continue playing the game. Player rules title page. If you want to directly see through the effects of the Taigu, you must at least have a piece of purple quality reconnaissance equipment. This is simply impossible, so players must rely on their own abilities to obtain information on the effects of the Taigu. Otherwise, if the player confronts Liwa next to the river, he will die very quickly. Lin Chen came to the book reading area and sat there, as if the entire space was immersed in a kind of sacred silence. There were only the faint sounds of turning pages and the soft sounds of stroking books. There were murals, sculptures or ancient decorations, outlining that the rich cultural heritage makes people immersed in the blend of history and art. The air is filled with the rich fragrance of books, and every book exudes the fragrance of knowledge, bringing profound thinking and inspiration to visitors. Travel notes on the Holy Spring. In the year 234 of the imperial calendar, after experiencing wind and rain, we found the legendary Holy Spring in the northern part of this village. Super dangerous species and Taigu. In the far north of the empire, there lives the legendary super dangerous species the extreme ice dragon. It has the vicious name of the ice demon and loves to kill. The extreme ice dragon has the power of making and controlling ice, can easily generate ice and freeze rivers. According to local rumors, the extreme ice dragon can even freeze space under extreme conditions. The raw material for making the Taigu, the appearance of the demon god and the essence of demon, Esdeath's Taigu, the blood-based Taigu. Except for Esdeath, all those who took it were driven crazy by the desire to kill. The book vaguely hints at Esdeath's killer move Mokobotomo, freezing time and space so that no one can act except himself. Dangerous species that resurrects the dead. In the mountain villages in the southern part of the empire, there are rumors that the dead will be resurrected. After investigation by the author, it is actually a bird-shaped special dangerous species, the nightmare spirit, which has a special eye, not only has long-sightedness, clairvoyance and other functions, but even ordinary people will fall into hallucinations when they look at it. This is also a rumor of the resurrection of the dead. The weakness of this special dangerous species is that it can only control one person at the same time. This should be the raw material for making the Taigu. 5 Sights Omnipotent Observer, a Taigu with 5 abilities: clairvoyance, far vision, clairvoyance, future vision, and phantom vision. Clairvoyance can see through the other person's mind by observing their expressions. Hyperopia can see things in the distance. Clairvoyance can see the target regardless of obstacles. Future vision can see the next situation through subtle movements of muscles, and phantom vision can allow people to see the next situation. The other person sees hallucinations. Lin Chen connected the knowledge in books with animation and easily obtained this information. Although players cannot get the manufacturing method of Taigu from the book, they can find the approximate effects and corresponding methods. Of course, the premise is that the player finds the royal library of the empire. Players who just go to it without thinking have nothing to do. Under the warm sunshine, Lin Chen stretched out comfortably and let out a contented groan, as if to announce to the world how comfortable and relaxed he was at the moment. It's rare that I read the book for a whole day without cutting anything. I have to say that this was the most pleasant day Lin Chen spent. He read books in a 1,000-year-old library without blood or killing. Time to go. Lin Chen put the books into the storage space. Lin Chen had already spent a lot of money to buy these books from the old man. There are copies of these books. All he needs to do is make another copy when the time comes. The old man will be happy to earn some money for the maintenance of the books. Leaving the Imperial Royal Library, Lin Chen was its first visitor in months, which had to be said to be sad. It's time to say goodbye to Arya's family. Let's go have a meal first. There's no rush. The lights were on and the moon was rising. Tasmi, who had been shopping all day, lay on the bed and refused to move. It's really scary for women to go shopping. It's completely different from Seu. Although she is a little tired, Miss Arya is really beautiful and gentle. Is it possible that she likes me? Tasmi lay on the bed and giggled. Although he didn't even hold her hand today, under Arya's special attack, his heart beat wildly. Why, Tasmi is so handsome today. Tasmi's swordsmanship is so beautiful. If only Tasmi could always be by my side. Tasmi couldn't help but turn over when she thought about the excitement. It was so embarrassing. Today Arya said that he looked good in the sword dance and wanted to see more. He danced the sword dance for an hour today and his hand almost broke. As long as Arya looked at him charmingly, Tasmi even wanted to dance with him for another hour. The innocent little virgin, who is no match for the bad woman, is completely manipulated. Now I am still lying in bed having fun. No, Tasmi, you must cheer up and work hard. How will you save the village? How will you marry Miss Arya? And how will you brag to your child when the child is born? Tasmi gave herself a hard slap and got up to do 100 push-ups. Okay, let's write a diary today. It's so interesting. Arya's mother walked in the dark corridor, looking at the diary in her hand with a gentle smile. Suddenly, a breeze blew by. This is my body. This was the last consciousness of Arya's mother. She was cut off at the waist without knowing it. A purple-haired woman appeared from behind her. She wore a pair of glasses and looked gentle and quiet. Her cheongsam couldn't hide her graceful figure. He has purple hair and a shawl, a pair of long white and tender legs, and holds a body-sized pair of scissors in his hand. The purple-haired woman bowed to the corpse on the ground and said, "I'm sorry." Hill, HP, 100%. Energy, 610 610ths. Strength, 86. Agility, 42. Constitution, 45. Intelligence, 61. Charisma, 9. Skill 1. Naturally dull, always forgetting something, but also more focused, and will be absolutely calm during battle. Skill 2. Kimin Mastery, the power and speed of Kimin weapons are increased by 25%. Skill 3. A natural killer, able to see through the attacks of all things in the world. Skill 4. Brain Acceleration, brain reaction speed plus 30%. Imperial Equipment. All things are divided into 2 parts ecstasy. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial Equipment, the strength is increased to 1.5 times. Effect 2. All things are cut in 2, and the sharpness is extremely high. There is no object in this world that cannot be cut. Effect 3. Strong, extremely strong, almost indestructible except for the other 2. Secret Skill. Ecstasy, which can emit a wide range of dazzling light as a cover. Hill, a naturally stupid girl with glasses, holds the Imperial Equipment all things 2 cuts that looks like a giant scissors. Growing up in a castle town in the imperial capital, she was ridiculed because she had no special skills and could not do anything well. Once she was insulted and killed someone to save her best friend, and then killed the deceased companion who came to take revenge. Her best friend gradually left her. And go. In the process of killing, he discovered his talent and became a killer. Later, he joined the night raid when he was engaged in assassination activities in the imperial capital. Lin Chen's Qinghong sword and her imperial weapon, all things 2 severs, have the same purpose. They are both sharp and strong enough, without so many bells and whistles. Of course, the Qinghong sword is far from the opponent of all things 2 severs at present. What's going on? Are you murderous? Could it be a night attack? Tasmi stopped doing push-ups and remembered the wanted poster she saw on the street this morning. Tasmi ran out of the room and looked out the window. That is, under the red moon, countless silk threads crisscrossed into a network, and 5 men and women stood in the sky, their clothes rustling in the strong wind. Night attack, maybe they targeted this place because it is also a wealthy place. Countless guards rushed out from underneath. There's a thief. Hold on, the security team will be here soon. The young man holding the silk thread in his hand smiled and said, "These guards are all targets, Chitong." Chitong said lightly, "Burial." The black-haired girl fell back down, and a strong man wearing full-body armor also jumped down. "Be on guard, it's Kai Tong who attacks at night, be careful with her knife, don't be touched." The guard leader obviously recognized Kai Tong. But Chitong didn't care about these people's vigilance. She took Murasama out of her sheath and slashed across the body of the guards one by one. Some were vital and some were not, but there was no difference to Chitong. "For me who is rotten to the core, this is the retribution I deserve." The guard leader murmured to himself, and black spells spread all over his face from the wounds. Red eyes. HP, 100%. Energy, 420 420ths. Strength, 61. Agility, 96. Constitution, 73. Intelligence, 42. Charisma, 10. Skill 1. Proficient in sword skills, the power and speed of sword weapons are increased by 50%. Skill 2. Assassination training, professional killer, strength, agility, constitution plus 10 points, can restrain the aura without being discovered. Skill 3. Number 7, one of the 7 elite assassination troops, strength and constitution plus 10 points, agility plus 20 points. Skill 4. Rapid, nerve reaction speed plus 50%, speed plus 50%. Skill 5. Tracking master, master level tracking, no one can escape. Skill 6. Hunter, damage to dangerous species plus 100%. Skill 7. Burial, marks the enemy, and the damage after marking is plus 100%. Imperial equipment, kill with one strike Murasama. Effect 1. With the blessing of the Imperial equipment, the agility is increased by 1.5 times. Effect 2. Sharp, extremely sharp, sharpness plus 30 points. Effect 3. Solid, solidity plus 200%. Effect 4. Deathly poison. If you are struck by this demonic sword, the wound will be infected with poison and you will die quickly. There is no antidote. Secret skill. Possessed by poison, cut yourself with Murasama, pour the lament, sadness, anger, and hatred of the people you killed in the past into yourself, and bear it with yourself, and your strength and speed will be greatly improved. The curse mark will not disappear after the activation time of the secret skill is over, but will always remain on the skin, causing the host to itch endlessly. Chitong, one of the strongest people in the world. A member of Night Raid, a beautiful girl with black hair and red eyes. Rumor has it that she is the most ferocious killer in the imperial capital and is called the Ace of Night Raid. When he was young, he and his sister were sold to the Imperial Agency and entered the Assassin Training Center for training, becoming one of the Elite 7. After that, as the Empire completed the assigned work, all the assassination work was completed alone. During the execution of the mission, he continued to feel the darkness of the Empire, and was finally persuaded to join the night attack when he assassinated Najeta. If Lin Chen and Kai Tong fight, Lin Chen will be killed in less than 10 rounds. He will lag behind in strength, agility, physical fitness, and intelligence. Moreover, he will be declared dead once he is cut, making him completely unable to fight. Of course, neither Chitong nor Esdeath are fighting for the players. This is seeking death. Who are these guys? They are monsters. The guards were quickly killed and dispersed. They were just ordinary people, and they were too powerless to face the Taigu user. Whether it was the long sword in Chitong's hand that could kill him if struck, or the armored man who could easily wield the spear with a spear inserted in his hand, they could not match them. Brand, HP, 100%. Energy, 350/350ths. Strength, 97. Agility, 67. Constitution, 83. Intelligence, 35. Charisma, 9. Skill 1. Spear mastery, the power and speed of spear weapons are increased by 40%. Skill 2. Extraordinary physique, natural physique far beyond ordinary people, physique, strength plus 20 points, agility plus 10 points. Skill 3. Military veteran, years of military training, physical fitness plus 10 points. Skill 4. Kill 100 people. The more enemies you have, the stronger your strength will be, up to 30% increase. Skill 5. Same love, when fighting with the same love, reduce the opponent's strength by 15%. Imperial equipment, haunted by evil spirits operation armor. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial equipment, the strength is increased to 1.5 times. Effect 2. Transparency, allowing the Taigu user to become invisible and even hide his or her aura. Effect 3. Biological armor, whole body defense plus 80 points. Effect 4. Red-backed Shrike, can summon the attached weapon, Red-backed Shrike. Effect 5. The evil ghost is immortal, and the armor's injuries can be automatically and gradually restored and will never be damaged. Effect 6. Evolution, haunted by evil spirits, it can continue to evolve. Effect 7. Transform into a dragon. The soul of the dangerous dragon-shaped Thailand is still sleeping in the Taigu. When the user finally evolves, the true power of the Taigu can be awakened. It was all wiped out at once. Tasmi stood by the window and watched as all the Arya's guards were killed in an instant. At least protect Miss Arya. Tasmi approached Arya. Arya's father begged. Let me go. I still have a daughter. Leonai pinched his neck with one hand. Don't worry, you will meet again there soon. Even my daughter, Arya's father said angrily. Are you so heartless? At this point he is just a poor father who wants to protect his children. Leonai sneered. Mercy, I really don't understand what you mean. Under the influence of the Imperial equipment transformation into the King of Beasts and the Lion King, Arya's father's neck was easily broken. Miss, come here quickly. What happens? Anyway, go to the independent warehouse first. It should be safe there. As Arya's personal bodyguard, he took Arya to escape as soon as he realized something was wrong. He knew very well that the night attack would not let Arya go, nor would he let go of him who helped the evildoer. Tasmi shouted breathlessly. Found it. Tasmi. The guard was overjoyed. It's just the right time. We plan to escape to the warehouse and wait for the security team to come. It's up to you to stop them during this time. Tasmi thought of the terrifying strength of the night attack. It's too overwhelming. While speaking, Chitong had already followed Tasmi behind her. In this case, we have no choice but to go up. Tasmi drew his sword, and Arya, who could not be kind, was killed in his eyes. Not a goal. Red eyes passed through Tasmi's defense with extremely high agility. Hateful. The guard raised his gun and created a hail of bullets in an attempt to intercept Kai Tong. Lin Chen, who was hiding aside, secretly smacked his lips. The Arya family is worthy of being a noble, and they are actually equipped with guns. It's a big deal. Fortunately, they sneaked in without being discovered, otherwise they would definitely be beaten into pieces. Target buried. Apparently the guard didn't stop him, so Chitong sent him away with a sword. The next thing is this, the goal is ruined. Stop, do you still want to kill innocent people? Tasmi arrived and stopped Chitong in time. Leonai waved his hands in disgust. It's so dirty. It's so dirty. After she finished the task, she came to meet Chitong. That guy with red eyes is really rare, haven't you killed him yet? Wait, what, that's... Leonai covered her face with her furry paws, and she saw that it was Tasmi who was confronting Chitong. How unlucky is that boy? First she, Leonai, defrauded her of all the money, then Arya deceived her home, and now she actually started fighting with Kai Tong. Seeing the two of them fighting back and forth, Leonai hurriedly stopped him. Marisama was not joking. Etc. Leonai grabbed the back of Chitong's neck. What are you doing? Chitong's big eyes were full of confusion, and she didn't understand how was picked up. Of course, it was because she trusted her partner that she was picked up so easily. Is there still time? Leonai smiled at Tasmi and said, I owe this young man a favor, and now I want to repay him a favor. Ah, Tasmi saw the person coming clearly, and couldn't help the anger in her heart. You were the one with the breasts at that time. Yes, it's that beautiful sister. Looking at the playful Leonai, Tasmi's hands were shaking with anger. It was the first time in her life that she was deceived so miserably. Leonai stopped his smile and said softly, Young man, did you just say, do you still want to kill innocent people? Then after reading these, can you still say the same thing? Leonai kicked open the door of the warehouse. Look carefully, this is the darkness of the Imperial capital. When Tasmi walked into the warehouse and took a look, she was immediately shocked by the hell on earth in the entire warehouse. What's this? These mummies and hanging corpses were too dark for Tasmi. He had never thought that such things existed in the ordinary warehouse of this manner. Using sweet words to lure people from out of town, subjecting them to their favorite torture until they die, this is the true face of this family. Wait a minute, you actually want to escape. Your plan is too good, miss. Leonai turned around and held down Miss Arya. Tasmi asked in a low voice, did this family do all this? Yes, it is the same crime for the guards to remain silent. Arya shook off Leonai's hand and said frantically, what did I do wrong? She knew she couldn't escape. Aren't you just a bunch of country people from out of town who are of no use at all? Like domestic animals, I am free to treat you how I want. Tasmi only felt that the crazy-looking Arya in front of her was particularly strange, as if the gentle and enthusiastic Miss Arya was just like a bubble. No, it was originally a fake. Tasmi, right, you originally had two companions, right? Look what I have in my hand. Arya took out the snow-capped flower hair ornament, and Tasmi recognized her companion's hair ornament at a glance. This is Sha Yu's hair accessory. What did you do to Sha Yu? Why is it in your hands? An extremely bad premonition emerged in Tasmi's mind, and he didn't even dare to continue thinking about it. Leonai sympathized. Are your friends among them? Arya laughed wildly and said, of course it will end up like the mummy in the warehouse. Besides, that woman is obviously just a beast. My hair is so smooth and shiny, it's so arrogant. But I was annoyed because of my curly hair. So I tortured her meticulously. She should thank me for being so favored by me. Tasmi said angrily. It's really heartbreaking. Arya said. Ha ha ha, Shayu, right. She begged me like crazy, look at her crying. I don't remember Sayu asking you, Miss Arya. A male voice interrupted Arya's words. Everyone was shocked when they saw Lin Chen walking out of the darkness wearing a night cloak. Chitong pulled out Murasama and said solemnly, when did you come? This is our first meeting, Miss Arya. Although we have never met, please keep the snow-capped flowers I left for you. Lin Chen turned to Tasmi and said, Shao and Yis are both alive and well. I rescued them the night before yesterday and hid them in this manor. Arya said in disbelief, it's you. You are hiding in the manor. No wonder I can't find you. Lin Chen shrugged. I don't have the ability to transport 2 wounded people out of the manor. This snow mountain flower is just forging evidence that we left. He raised his hand and chopped Arya to death with a sword, and a head rose into the sky. Lin Chen tolerated her for a long time. Hint, you killed Miss Arya. Hint, you got the treasure chest white. Chitong turned around and said, the mission is over, let's go. The stronghold is very short of manpower. Leonai said, why don't we bring Tasmi with us? I think he has great potential. Is there another boy? Lin Chen said to Leonai and Chitong, you are a night raider, right? I want to join you. By the way, you have to pick up 2 people in the warehouse. They should also join. Leonai said, then let's go. As an Anbu member of the Revolutionary Army, one must learn to attract talents and unite all forces that can be united. Whether it is Tasmi or the mysterious Lin Chen, Leonai recognizes their abilities. As long as we fight against the Empire, that's enough. Ma Yin said impatiently, too slow. She almost froze to death standing on the crossend in Lubbock. What's going on with these 4 people? They are companions. From today on, they are our companions. Leonai squeezed poor Tasmi with her chest. Chitong, the battle is over, now return. The next morning, the stronghold was attacked at night. Hey, haven't you made up your mind to become our partner? That's it, Hill, say some warm words to this guy. Hill, the girl with glasses, said gently, it doesn't matter. Now that we know the location of the stronghold, if you don't become our partner, you will be killed. Tasmi, it was so warm that I even cried. Hill, you'd better think about it carefully. Tasmi glanced at the book that Hill was reading, 100 Ways to Cure Natural Silence. They are indeed a group of weirdos. Najiexidin said helplessly. In short, it's okay not to join. There is no problem of being killed. Of course, I can't let you go. I will let you work in the stronghold. I'll join, my name is Chen Shi. Then I'll join too. My name is Sayu. How can I be missing? My name is Ease. Tasmi. Najiexidin asked curiously. Why are you so determined to join the night attack, Chengxi? I think Xiao and Ease both joined for your sake. Lin Chen said. Shao, you don't have to be like this. Assassin is a very serious and dangerous profession. The reason why I joined is that I have to join. I hate this empire, so I want to contribute to Night Raid, not for anything else but for myself. I think this ring is enough proof of my determination. Lin Chen took out the ring and showed it. Najiexidin murmured to herself. This is, the Taigu Water Dragon Pony Black Marin, could it be said? You were the one who killed the 3 beast warriors on the street the night before yesterday. As soon as these words came out, the Night Raid members all looked at Lin Chen in shock, and even the Tasmi trio looked at the ring in confusion. What is this Water Dragon Pony Black Malin? Is it rare? It's the Taigu is. The members of Night Raid are all Taigu users. They deeply understand the power of the Taigu, and they also know the cruelty of the Taigu users. The iron rule of Taigu: if there is a fight between Taigu owners, one of them will die. Chen Shi, a strong man who can kill the 3 beast warriors and take away the imperial gear. Don't look at me like that, I'll be shy. Let me declare in advance that I don't have a taigu. Kai Tong said solemnly. That's even more powerful. A person who doesn't even have an imperial weapon killed the famous 3 beasts Sliva. You are very dangerous. Lin Chen said modestly. It's just a small trick. Sure enough, capable people are different, so it would not be in vain for him to kill Liwa. Najixidin said happily. No matter what, we will all be companions from now on. Let us welcome new partners. Except for Chen Shi, Tasmi and the other 3 are temporarily interns. A master who could kill the Taigu user appeared out of thin air, and Najixidin felt very good. This Chengxi killed Esdeath's trusted subordinates, and there was basically no possibility of betrayal. As for Tasmi and the other 3, they have a clean background and are very malleable in strength. They are also good prospects. Najixidin is very satisfied. Najixidin, the leader of the night attack, commonly known as the boss. The right hand is a prosthetic leg. Once an imperial general. He once went on an expedition to the southwest border with Esdeath. Later, he witnessed the actions of the imperial army during an operation to conquer bandits, and rebelled against the empire and joined the revolutionary army. Before joining the troops, he encountered Esdeath and lost his right eye and right hand. From then on, he had a profound understanding of Esdeath's terrifying strength. The former owner of the Taigu, Pumpkin, initially evaluated by Esdeath as having a passionate heart, but able to fight calmly. Lin Chen said, then please take care of me. Tip, you have joined the Revolutionary Army Night Raid Force. Tip, due to strength, the player's current position is, official member of Night Raid cannot be promoted. Tip, the player successfully joins the camp and the camp contribution is turned on. Tip, faction contribution can be used to promote positions and purchase items from the Night Raid internal list. Hell, why didn't I have a camp contribution and an internal list when I joined the Iron City camp? Okay, I admit that when I joined the camp, I was directly the leader of the camp, and it can be said that Jiadicheng is empty, so naturally there is no internal list or anything like that. A full-fledged member of Night Raid, unless Najixi Tanliang is promoted, the position will be over at a glance. Saying goodbye to everyone in Night Raid, Lin Chen followed the instructions and came to the Night Raid logistics office. Tip, you have entered the special area, Revolutionary Army Night Raid Temporary Logistics Branch. Tip, this area is a hidden area. You can use your camp contribution to redeem items. Lin Chen was a little curious about what items could be exchanged in the logistics department. Chen Shi, welcome to the logistics department. We have many unique items that you will definitely like. A man wearing Revolutionary Army clothes warmly entertained Lin Chen, and a list of items appeared in front of Lin Chen. When Lin Chen saw the list of items, he couldn't take his eyes away at the first sight. The fire in his heart was burning, and Lin Chen wanted to empty it out on the spot. Excellent long sword green inventory quantity, 10 out of 10, exchange condition, 2000 camp contribution. Soul fragment small inventory quantity, 5/5, exchange condition, 5000 camp contribution. Official instrument, Kurichimanji, blue. Place of origin, cut crimson eyes. Quality, blue. Category, weapons. Durability, 100/100. Attack power, 65 to 83. Equipment requirements, 25 points of strength can be used, and more than 27 points of strength can be used flexibly. Rating, 70, blue extreme. Equipment effect 1. Armor breaking, this weapon has 30% armor breaking effect. Equipment effect 2. Bleeding, the damage caused by this weapon will cause a bleeding effect. Special effect. Treatment is prohibited, and the cut wound cannot be healed. Introduction. The weapon of the sword, the inferior replacement of the imperial weapon, kill with 1 slash, Murasama, is still a very terrifying weapon. Stock quantity, 1. Redemption conditions, 20,000 contribution points. Special dangerous species egg of sky ray. Place of origin, cut crimson eyes. Quality, blue. Category, pets mounts taming animals. Durability, none. Equipment requirements, none. Rating, 70, blue extreme. Effect, flying, rideable. Introduction, The egg of a super dangerous flying ray can hatch into a flying ray, which can withstand 7 to 8 people and is an excellent aerial mount. Stock quantity. 1. Redemption conditions. 20,000 contribution points. The list of items contained a lot of dangerous eggs, equipment, green quality and blue quality items. At the bottom of everything, a big 0 egg reminded Lin Chen of his wallet limit. The Revolutionary Army still has 2 brushes. I really don't know what good things are in the stores of the Imperial camp. I can't think about it. If I think about it again, I will regret it. No matter what, all the soul fragments small must be replaced. If I don't, I will regret it for the rest of my life. It is rare to have a stable channel to obtain soul fragments small. All Lin Chen's specialties have been blocked by soul fragments small, and his desire for soul fragments small is unlimited. If I can change my equipment, then I can use blue equipment during my apprenticeship. With Sky Ray, who the hell rides a bicycle? It's actually a team flying mount, the dream pet of countless teams. These were simply naked temptations. Lin Chen secretly cursed that he had been seduced. Laughing to death, Eternal Oath couldn't bear it at all. Lin Chen couldn't wait to work as a horse for the Revolutionary Army right away. Don't get me wrong, the main reason is that Lin Chen loves revolution. Do you recycle Taigu here? Lin Chen took out Shui Long Po Yi Black Malin and asked the Revolutionary Army man. Collect it, why not? We will recycle the Taigu forever. We can give 15,000 camp contribution points. Tip: the Revolutionary Army Night Raid Logistics Department wants to recycle the Imperial Equipment Water Dragon Pony Black Marin with 15,000 camp contribution points. Luan Yuan, you are really evil-hearted. If you recycle an Imperial weapon, you won't even be able to get back a single piece of equipment. And will it affect the mission evaluation after recycling? Lin Chen still remembered that when he obtained black plasma and white plasma before, although they were not used, he gave Lin Chen some praise at the end. Tip: after the Revolutionary Army Night Raid Logistics Department recovers the Imperial equipment, it will not affect the mission evaluation, but players who lose the Imperial equipment for other reasons will lose the effect of increasing the evaluation. This is more or less the same. In other words, not only does recycling the Taigu not affect the final settlement, but in the end, you can get 15,000 camp contribution points for free, which is quite delicious. Lin Chen thought thoughtfully, the value of 1 camp contribution is almost the same as 1 game currency. In this case, I still choose to take a gamble. Lin Chen took out Eternal Oath Mail and tried to devour Water Dragon Pony Black Malin. It was rare to encounter a ring-like Imperial tool. Anyway, he couldn't bring it back to the paradise. Isn't this a natural devouring material? If Lin Chen didn't want to keep it, in order to prove to Yi Shi that he had killed the 3 beast warriors, he would have already swallowed them. Compared with the 15,000 camp contribution points and the settlement of the final mission, Lin Chen wanted to know how far the green quality Eternal Oath would grow if it swallowed the purple quality Taigu. Tip: it is detected that the Taigu is disappearing. Tip: the Taigu Water Dragon Possession and Black Marin are core items in the game world, and damage is prohibited. Suddenly time began to stop and space stopped flowing. Lin Chen felt the will of the game world coming. Lin Chen secretly sensed who was coming, the game world derived from the paradise, the will of the world that kills the red pupil. You want me to stop swallowing the Taigu? That won't work. I will also pay a huge price. Lin Chen rubbed his hands excitedly. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rip off the world. The world's core props like the red eyes of cutting are scattered directly in the outside world, and they happen to be swallowed up by growth props like Lin Chen. The chance is not high. Are you saying that you can replace Taigu and help me upgrade the green quality to the blue quality? No, if I swallow it normally, I can also grow into blue quality. Isn't there no difference? Lin Chen decisively refused. What a joke, how could such a beautiful thing happen? Give me another skill on the ring. What kind of skill is it? I don't want it if it's rubbish. As for the treatment, it's okay. What, if you can, let go of the Taigu immediately? Boss, it's not that I won't let it go. Do you think you can add it to me in the final evaluation? Lin Chen waited for the reply from the will of the world with a smile on his face. 10 minutes later. Tip: the will of the world proposes negotiations to the player, and the following is the final plan. 1. Players will obtain blue quality Eternal Oath Mail. 2. The world will add a healing skill to Eternal Vow Mail and ensure the quality. 3. The world will ensure that the player's final evaluation remains unchanged. 4. Players need to hand over the Taigu Water Dragon Pony Black Marin immediately. Tip. Does the player agree to negotiate? Agree. Lin Chen quickly agreed, and if the negotiations continued, the will of the world would probably give up on the negotiations and simply be swallowed up. This wave of Lin Chen received a huge benefit, which was equivalent to using 15,000 camp contribution points to upgrade Eternal Vow Mail. Eternal Vow Mail just to upgrade from white to green requires about 10,000 game coins in materials. If you want to upgrade from green to blue, you can't do it without 40,000 game coins. Just upgrading Fei Linchen will make you a lot of money, let alone adding a healing skill, which will make you a lot of money. Just after Lin Chen agreed, a golden light appeared in Lin Chen's eyes. It wrapped around Water Dragon Pony Black Malin and disappeared. At the same time, Lin Chen's treasure ring was also wrapped. 10 minutes later, Eternal Vow Mail floated into Lin Chen's hands with blue light all over his body. Eternal Vow Mail can grow. Origin: Goblin Slayer. Quality: Blue 0/100. Category: Ring. Durability: None. Equipment requirements: Lin Chen bound. Rating: 70. Blue full rating. Equipment effect 1. Miracle Sacred Shield, which automatically generates Miracle Sacred Shield when exposed to fatal danger and lasts for 5 seconds. The defense strength of the Holy Shield is related to one's own strength and can be used actively. The cooling time is 1 natural day. Equipment effect 2. Shining Brilliance, which can activate 3 sacred treatments per day. The treatment effect is equivalent to the user's intelligence. The number of uses is updated every morning. Special effect 1. The resistance to negative effects such as Eternal Will, Charm, and Control is greatly increased. Special effect 2. Growth value can be obtained by absorbing materials and ring-type equipment, and it can evolve when the growth value is reached. Introduction. Eternal Vows, like the stars inlaid on a ring, shine with our deep love. Price: not for sale. The corners of Lin Chenla's mouth rose crazily. It was worthy of being shot in the world, it must be top quality. The cooldown time of Miracle Sacred Shield has been changed to 1 natural day, which is 1 step closer to the freedom of Holy Shield that Lin Chen wants. There was no change in the Eternal Will. As Lin Chen expected, the substantial increase was already a lot. If you want to change, you may have to wait until the purple quality. The key is the healing skills promised by the world. Honest people, if they say they guarantee the quality, they will guarantee the quality without any discount. Lin Chen originally thought that it was a light attribute and he would be satisfied. Unexpectedly, the world actually gave Lin Chen a sacred attribute. There are many kinds of healing skills, such as water attributes, fire attributes, etc., but the most outstanding one is the light attribute. The healing skills of light priests are famous in all the worlds. And the sacred attribute is an enhanced version of the light attribute. In a word, I will cure what light cannot cure, and I will take care of what light cannot control. This is holiness. It is usually inconspicuous, and its therapeutic effect is similar to that of regular attributes. But when players are made to cry for their parents by many evil and dark curses, they will feel how fragrant the sacred attributes are. Little Red Potion. What is that? I don't know it at all. Lin Chen had completely changed his face. He didn't know who he was at the beginning. He searched hard for the little red potion and almost couldn't bear to drink it. It's a joke, with the shining light of blue quality, 3 times a day, and it is still a sacred attribute, who would bother to use the little red potion as a treasure? The little red potion also costs money, right? It costs several hundred. Sure enough, you are still a rip-off of the world. How much money can you make even if you are exhausted? Lin Chen touched his first blue equipment and couldn't put it down. Chapter 51. When it was time to make money, Lin Chen left the logistics area where he could only drool. Night attack on the stronghold. This is a place called the training ground where you can let off steam. Then the one who smells like sweat is Brand. Li and I was taking Lin Chen to visit the stronghold. So strong. Brand's strong physique can be felt even at the edge. A tiger dancing with a spear in one hand is powerful. But when Lin Chen thought about Brand's orientation, his face twitched and he couldn't look directly at Brand's body. Hey, it's time for Sister Leonai to take a bath soon. Leonai pointed at Lubbock, who was lying on the ground and looking at the swimming pool with a lewd expression on his head, and said, "This is Lubbock." Lin Chen looked at Lubbock, who was being beaten crazily by Leonai. Lubbock, HP, 100%. Energy, 430/430ths. Strength, 34. Agility, 83. Constitution, 37. Intelligence, 43. Charisma, 9. Skill 1. Kimin Mastery, the power of Kimin weapons is increased by 20%. Skill 2. Son of a businessman, his business ability is greatly improved. Skill 3. Mental dexterity, hand speed increased by 100%. Taigu, Kaylee change cross tail. Effect 1. With the blessing of the Imperial equipment, the agility is increased by 1.5 times. Effect 2. Death disguise, you can use silk thread to stop the movement of your blood vessels to pretend to be dead. Effect 3. Silk armor, using the cross tail to weave close-fitting armor, total body defense plus 30 points. Effect 4. Thousands of silk walls, heavy silk threads form a barrier, which can block most attacks. Effect 5. Silk thread impact, using threads to condense into various weapons to launch attacks. Effect 6. Heart strangulation. Once the silk thread enters the body, it can control the silk thread to strangle the enemy's heart, and death will be inevitable. Effect 7. The wire is broken, and the solidity and sharpness of the wire are increased by 200%. Effect 8. Ever-changing, silk thread has many uses, and its development depends on imagination. It can be developed for uses such as barriers, traps, and perception. Lubbock, member of Night Raid. The son of a big businessman, he likes Nagiacidin and joins the night attack. Although his strength was good, what made Lin Chen most curious was his Taigu. Altitude and crossover tail is really easy to use and very suitable for a lone ranger like Lin Chen. You have already seen the red pupil. The next one is Ma Yin. Leonai took Lin Chen to find Ma Yin. Lin Chen was also impressed by Ma Yin, a sniper who was responsible for blocking the entry and exit of the entire manor when she was at Arya Manor. Hundreds of people who were sniped by one person were unable to enter or exit, and they also suppressed the entire manor's musketeers. Overall a very powerful sniper. Main, HP, 100%. Energy, 430/430ths. Strength, 23. Agility, 21. Physique, 41. Intelligence, 91. Charisma, 9. Skill 1. Firearms Mastery, the power of firearms weapons is increased by 40%. Skill 2. Sniper Genius, power and accuracy plus 50% when sniping. Skill 3. Extremely Calm, the more dangerous the situation, the calmer you become. Taigu, Romantic Turret Pumpkin. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial equipment, intelligence is increased by 1.5 times. Effect 2. Mental Bullets, no need to reload, using the user's mental power as bullets. Effect 3. Mode Switching, you can switch between sniper, submachine gun, rifle, artillery and other modes. Effect 4. Increased Danger. The more dangerous the situation, the greater the power of the firearm, which can be increased by up to 500%. Effect 5. Overload, lifting restrictions to greatly increase the power of the weapon, but it will be temporarily unusable due to overheating. I got to know this arrogant Lolita with pink hair and black stockings. One thing to say, the quality of the beauties in Night Raid is still very good, and the work is pleasing to the eye. Hill, the girl with glasses, and the purple-haired lady are naturally stupid. Leonai, the blonde lady with animal ears. Ma Yin, a arrogant pink-haired black Lolita. Kai Tong, a beautiful girl with black hair and red pupils. Oh, and there is also a scheming girl with headphones behind her, Chelsea. Note, the author here kindly recommends the anime Zon Crimson Eyes, it is really very healing and will warm your day. Lin Chen felt extremely guilty after paddling like this for a day. The next day he couldn't wait to send a job request to Nagiacidin. You want a job so soon? Well, I happen to have a task here. What Leonai just started, let Leonai tell you. Nagiacidin was surprised by Lin Chen's diligence. Leonai said, the targets are Oka of the Imperial Guard and oil merchant Jamal. According to the client, Okar collected large amounts of bribes from the oil merchant Gamal, and then whenever Gamal committed a crime, Okar would find a scapegoat for him. The client's fiancé was also wrongly accused and sentenced to death. Quote, "These are the commission fees paid at that time." Tazmi was surprised. So much money has been saved. Leonai couldn't bear to say. I smell the smell of disease, probably accumulated by selling my body continuously. Najieshi said seriously, "Have you confirmed the facts?" Leonai affirmed, "I saw with my own eyes and heard with my own ears that they are guilty." Najigzadin, "Well, Night Raid will accept this commission. The new empire does not need these heinous scum." Chen Shi, "Are you okay?" Leonai reminded, "Although it is easy to kill the businessman Jamal, Auka is a difficult enemy. Okar is a very cautious person. He usually calls Jamal to his room to collect the bribe money. When he is not on duty, he drinks in the busy street near the palace. Don't worry, leave it to me, I'm sure." Lin Chen said confidently, "It's just Auka, let him be my first mission." Najiexidan said, "Then Chen Shi will be in charge of Oka, and Kai Tong and Leonai will be in charge of the oil merchant Gamal. Tip: You triggered the campsite mission assassination of Oka. Mission introduction. You have just joined the night attack, and you urgently need a mission to prove yourself. Kill the ghost Oka and prove your ability. Mission goal: assassinate Oka, the captain of the Imperial City Guard. Mission reward: 2,000 camp contribution points. Failure penalty: the prestige of the night attack is greatly reduced. Except, 2,000 camp contribution points are quite rich, almost as much as a green outfit. Although the ghost Oka has a great reputation, he is just an ordinary person after all. Lin Chen suspected that his worth is not even comparable to that of the 4 Rakshasa ghosts. Lin Chen had seen Oka's attributes when he passed by Oka before. Oka, HP, 100%. Energy, 230/230. Strength, 52. Agility, 39. Constitution, 43. Intelligence, 23. Charisma, 6. Skill 1. Swordsmanship proficiency, the power of sword weapons is increased by 30%. Skill 2. Ghost Oka, agility plus 15 points, can reduce the enemy's will. Skill 3. Fighting proficiency, fighting power plus 25%. Skill 4. Heavy sword, strength plus 25 points. It may be more difficult for ordinary players, but Lin Chen's evaluation is that it feels not as good as Frost Wolf. At least Frost Wolf runs much faster than Auka. The only unique skill, Ghost Oka, was completely defeated by Eternal Oath. Lin Chen didn't even know how to lose. The bustling place of the imperial capital, the flower street, the pavilion of bliss. This is a luxurious house. In front of the house is a flowing stream and an exquisite bridge. Beautiful girls in dresses are greeting guests by the bridge. Dancers waving red skirts are shaking their seductive bodies to the beat of drums. Waiters in exquisite costumes come and go to provide guests with the best service. The breeze was blowing, and the men who got off the carriage hugged the enchanting women in furs. The women walked gently on the aisle. They tried their best to walk gracefully, and their thighs were straight under their tight skirts. A leading figure wearing a fur coat with white shoulders exposed was sitting by the window soliciting customers, attracting countless passers-by to watch. There are men in black clothes wandering around in front and back of the Paradise Hall. You can see the well-developed muscles from the open clothes. They are all masters from the Emperor Fist Temple. If someone makes trouble here, then these men will let the trouble come to an end. People tasted the iron fist of the first temple in the empire. The Pavilion of Paradise is the most famous fireworks place in the flower street of the imperial capital. The guests who come and go are either rich or expensive. Here are the best wines, the most beautiful women, in short, everything is the best. All the wishes of the guests can be fulfilled here. This pavilion of bliss is like a demonic flower blooming in the imperial capital, violating the seasons and never fading, like a legendary burning red lotus. Astronomical profits are generated here every day, and all of them will flow to the center of power of the empire, Minister Ernest, the uncrowned king who controls the imperial capital and even the entire empire. As the captain of the imperial police force, Oka would come here to spend money every day after get off work, whether he liked it or not. The guests saw that the captain of the imperial guard often came here, so the security level was extremely high. Alka's move was to show his loyalty to the minister, whether it was conveying the intention of the guard to always pay attention to the Paradise Pavilion, or spending money here, it was smooth and smooth. Elegant bribes to ministers or Alka's means to stabilize his position. Oka admired the song and dance performance in the hall. The dancers walked, chanted and sang. The women's white skin complemented each other and danced, with their waists as tight as their shoulders. The big sword hangs on Alka's waist. It is Alka's creed that the weapon never leaves his body, even if he has drunk a lot of wine and played with a lot of women. I'm so unlucky these days. Oka felt miserable. He didn't know who was bold enough to assassinate the three beasts Sliva. He couldn't figure out the meaning of this even if he tried to think of it. He couldn't put the blame on Raid for this even if he wanted to. Although the minister is greedy, he is definitely not a fool. Although the night attack is hateful, the night attack only assassinates the corrupt nobles and the wealthy class who have done many evil things. Leva can't hit him with 8 poles. Just like the assassination of Arya's noble family just now, that is absolutely it was a night raid. Whether Lewa was killed or Arya was killed, Okar was under tremendous pressure, and he had to come to the Paradise Pavilion to spend money to express his loyalty. The money is getting more and more insufficient. The minister has charged me a lot of money because Arya was killed. The consumption of the Paradise Pavilion is also very high. It seems that we need to find a few more merchants to collect more money. The scapegoat I found for Jamal not long ago was very good and made a lot of money. I heard that the scapegoat also has a beautiful fiancée. I am really too kind. Oka thought this way. As the captain of the Imperial Guard, his daily task was to collect bribes. It didn't matter how good the security was. The world is like this: if you don't eat me, I will eat you, just like the unlucky guy who was eaten by him and left with a fiancée. It doesn't matter how the weak moan, the strong or the absolute existence in this city, I will punish others, no one can punish me. Drinking all the wine in the glass in one gulp, so cool. Have another drink, this is a happy life. See, an inaudible sound sounded, which was the sound of a long sword passing through flesh. Psychic shock. Okar suffered severe pain in his chest and brain. Captain Oka, good evening, goodbye. A somewhat familiar young man's voice sounded in Alka's ear. Yes, Alka vaguely remembered that it was the day after Lewa was killed, and it was a friendly citizen who took the initiative to say hello to him. You are the assassin who assassinated Lord Leva. Oka reacted and said, struggling. As expected of the demon Oka, he is really powerful, but it's better to see you again. Lin Chen twisted it hard, and the Qinghong sword completely broke Alka's heart. He lowered his head and said to Alka. Hint. You killed the ghost Oka. Tip. You got the treasure chest green. Tip. You have completed the campside mission assassination of Alka. Tip. You have obtained 2,000 camp contribution points. Looking from the side of the hall, it looks like old friends having a cordial conversation and whispering. Oka never imagined that someone would dare to assassinate him in public. Although he never left his sword, he drank a lot of wine after all. The confusion caused by the alcohol in his brain prevented him from sensing the danger. Lin Chen held Oka's body up and adjusted his posture as if he was drunk. The smell of blood will be discovered sooner or later, but Lin Chen does not need to hide it for too long. It only takes 1 minute for Lin Chen to escape from the Paradise Pavilion. Chitong and Leonai should have been assassinated by now. Let's go back and join them. Lin Chen had no doubt that Chitong and the others would miss. It was a joke. 2 Taigu users personally went to assassinate a businessman. If they could escape, Lin Chen would dare to twist off his head. To be honest, Lin Chen himself might not be able to escape. Leonie, HP, 100%. Energy, 230/230. Strength, 75. Agility, 79. Constitution, 95. Intelligence, 23. Charisma, 9. Skill 1. Mastery of fists and kicks. The power of fists and kicks is increased by 40%. Skill 2. Lion King Fist, a boxing technique developed based on Taigu, with power plus 50%. Skill 3. Adaptation. Children who grew up in slums have greatly improved their adaptability. Imperial Equipment. Transformation into the King of Beasts, the Lion King. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial Equipment, physical fitness is increased to 1.5 times. Effect 2. Lion King Transformation. Transformation, the user transforms into a Lion King human animal form, with strength and agility plus 30 points. Effect 3. Enhanced sense of smell, able to track enemies. Effect 4. Mysterious meaning. The lion is immortal, improves one's recovery power by plus 800%, and can stop bleeding on its own even if its hands and feet are cut off or its eyes are poked blind. The effect of Leonai's Taigu is to purely increase physical fitness. Coupled with the enhanced sense of smell, it is very difficult to attack Chitong at the same time. The guard who passed by the Paradise Pavilion remained calm looking. The guard saw that Lin Chen was going out, and after a few glances, he stopped paying attention. With so many guests coming and going, the guard had no intention of keeping an eye on everyone. Ah! A woman's scream rang out from the Paradise Pavilion. Was she discovered so quickly? Lin Chen left in a hurry. There were so many people coming and going. By the time he found clues about him, Lin Chen had already rested at the stronghold. What's more, Lin Chen's face was fake. In public, Lin Chen was not stupid enough to use it to assassinate with real face. Lin Chen didn't want to be wanted so soon. As expected of the man who dared to assassinate Liwa on the street, he actually assassinated the captain of the Imperial Guard in public. In the hall of the night attack stronghold, Naji Exiden listened in admiration to Lin Chen's mission report. Lin Chen's assassination method is also unique in the night attack, bold and careful. Unlike other members of the night attack who assassinated secretly, Lin Chen did not avoid others during his 2 attacks. Lin Chen chuckled and said, "As long as the target dies and he is not discovered, then it is a successful assassination, right?" Leonai complained. "Chen Shi, it feels a bit weird to say so." Lin Chen was naturally not a monster. The reason why he dared to take action directly was because he knew Auka's strength. Even if he was discovered, Lin Chen would be sure to kill Auka and escape from the Paradise Pavilion. "Hey, wait, don't take off my clothes." Before Lin Chen could be handsome for 3 seconds, Chitong began to pull at his clothes. The beautiful girl with black hair and red eyes groped around Lin Chen's body. "That's great. You're not injured. I've seen friends who were poisoned and died because they didn't report their injuries. It's great that you weren't injured." Chitong showed a bright smile. Leonai explained, "Chitong doesn't want to see you die." Kai Tong. Kai Tong was sold to the assassination force since she was a child and underwent cruel assessments. Almost all of her companions who grew up with her died. As a killer with blood on her hands, Chitong cherishes her partners even more. Even if Lin Chen has known her for less than 2 days, he is still a partner she can trust with her life. She will also be worried about Lin Chen's first mission. Lin Chen naturally knew Chitong's character. "Chitong, don't worry about me. Please give me your advice next time." The Imperial Capital, in the palace. Interior Officer Sour. "Because you have arbitrarily discussed my policies and delayed government affairs, I sentence you to the punishment of splitting an ox." In a magnificent palace, the little emperor of the empire is judging his subjects. The little emperor held the scepter that symbolized the supreme power of the empire and made a majestic declaration. All the officials below were trembling. The punishment of splitting a cow. Such a cruel punishment came from the mouth of the little emperor without hesitation. The little emperor asked, "Is this all right, minister?" Next to the little emperor, a fat old man with a gray beard ate a big mouthful of raw meat and agreed, "Your Highness is wise, and you are truly a wise king." The little emperor asked curiously, "Is it meat again? You can really eat it?" The minister replied, "Ha ha, you must eat it early while the meat is still fresh." Internal Affairs Officer Sour looked at the 2 people sitting on the throne and said in his heart, "Your Majesty, you have been deceived by the minister. I hope you can listen to the voice of the people with your own ears." The little emperor's face turned gloomy instantly. He never imagined that this reckless internal affairs officer would not only discuss his policies, but also openly throw dirty water on the ministers. He was so audacious. "Hey, minister, he is still saying that." The minister chuckled and said, "I must have lost my mind." The little emperor said categorically, "Well, I have never missed anything you said from before." Shower knelt on the ground and felt the biting cold. He did not expect that his appeal, risking the lives of his whole family, would have such a result. After saying this, the minister would definitely not let his family go. The minister rolled his eyes, and he was full of anger towards Shower, not because of Shower's outright resistance, but because there were still people who dared to resist in the court after many cleanings. It seemed that the cleaning was not deep enough. Master Sour, what a sad farewell. Your Majesty, if this continues, the 1,000-year history of the empire will be. The minister came to Shower, who was shouting for his life but was firmly held down by the guards. He said in a voice that could be heard by the surrounding officials, "Leave the lovely wife you left behind to me. I will help you take good care of her, taking care of every part." The minister waved his hand to the guards to drag the ashen-faced interior officer Sour down. These idiots always rely on the protection of General Bude to see the situation and jump out to oppose him. They are really naive. It is true that General Bude is deeply trusted by the emperor. It is true that he possesses the imperial equipment, Thunder God's Wrath Admalek, and is the strongest in the empire. However, he is loyal to the empire, no matter whether the empire is dark or something, and he follows the principles of the 1,000-year-old family. He will never get involved in politics, which is why the minister will retain General Bude. General Bude is nominally the supreme commander of the empire. In fact, the only troops he can control are the palace guards. In the eyes of ministers, they are just super guards and pose no threat at all. The empire's army is in the hands of Esdeth, and as long as there is a war, Esdeth doesn't care who is in power. There is no threat, and even if Esdeth resists, the minister has the backup plan to kill Esdeth instantly. Sri Lanka. The minister said intoxicatedly, "My rule is so flawless. As long as I have that supreme power, the empire will always be under my control." As the top official in control of the entire empire, the minister's wisdom is unquestionable. He knows that civil unrest is now widespread, but outsiders will never know the reason why he is so corrupt. Under the arrangement of the first emperor, as long as the power of God is still there, the empire will be immortal. Night attack, just a clown. Oka is such a waste, he died in Flower Street. It seems that a new guard captain is about to be replaced. I remember that he was the one who paid the most filial piety to Mies. The minister arranges personnel in an orderly manner, and he is serious about corruption. Such power is just for the enjoyment of corruption. Chengxi, someone has invaded. Where are the number and location of the intruders? Lin Chen was woken up from his sleep by Lubbock. Is this part of the plot included? Lin Chen was puzzled. In his impression, Night Raid was invaded by no one except Dr. Fashion, who had the imperial weapon God's Hand, Perfect One. After Lin Chen's careful recall, he suddenly realized that he was discovered by a mercenary group in the early stages of the anime. Najiexodin commanded, "Send out, kill everyone without leaving anyone behind." Tip: you triggered the campsite mission, Stronghold Secrecy War. Mission Introduction. The mercenary group of a foreign nation accidentally discovered the stronghold of the night attack. Clear them out, otherwise the secrets of the stronghold will be leaked. Mission goal: clean up the mercenary group. Mission reward: 1,000 camp contribution points. Failure penalty: night attack stronghold exposed. Really, these trash fish, for the sake of contribution points, I will forgive you. During the night attack on the outskirts of the stronghold, a mercenary evacuated in the woods. Was the intrusion detected? However, it is certain that the base of the night attack is here. This piece of information alone is of great value. The mercenaries were excited when they thought about the huge wealth, and the bounty for the night attack was astronomical. Although it's a nice thought, you can't leave. Lin Chen whispered near the mercenary and cut off his head with a sword. The mercenary kept his eyes open and said, "When did you come?" The effect of Lubbock's ever-changing crosstail is really useful. Once the barrier is set up, ordinary people can't invade at all. Lin Chen returned to the stronghold and passed by Chitong, only to see 3 corpses lying at her feet. You can tell at a glance that he is an idiot looking at the cuteness of the red eyes and thinking of showing mercy. Tip: you have completed the campsite mission, Stronghold Secrecy Battle. Tip: you have gained 1,000 camp contribution points. Poor Lin Chen couldn't even grab a head and was forced to fish in the water. Regarding the 1,000 camp contribution points that this kind of paradise insisted on giving, Lin Chen could only accept it with tears and said, "Give more, it tastes really good." Lin Chen shouted, "Chitong, let's go back to cook. What are we going to eat today?" Chitong blinked and said seriously, meat. Okay, you are the chef and you make the decision. Thanks to Chitong, Lin Chen has eaten more than twice as much meat in the past few days as before. Chitong is a complete carnivore. One of Lin Chen's doubts was, how could Chitong's belly be so small that he could fit so much meat into it? It was completely beyond his body size. Tip: you have completed the campsite mission assassination of Iokal, the minister's distant relative. Tip: you have gained 1000 camp contribution points. Lin Chen has been crazy about accepting night raid missions in the past few days, and has wiped out all the accumulated missions. But it's just mosquito meat, and Lin Chen has only accumulated 6000 camp contribution points so far. For ordinary players, night raids are simply a paradise. By assassinating some ordinary people, they can steadily increase their contribution points. The income of 6000 is not low, and AB level evaluation only costs 6000 game coins. But for Lin Chen, the income is really too low, and it will take years and months to get what he wants. You must know that just Soul Fragment Small requires a full 25,000 camp contribution points. In Night Raid, Lin Chen can be said to be the ultimate volume king. In Leoni's words, Chen Shi, if you continue like this, we will all be unemployed. The members of Night Raid never expected that they would face a career crisis. Lin Chen muttered, there is no way, it's all just to make money. Sure enough, making money depends on the Taigu user. One Taigu has 15,000 contribution points. Lin Chen thought of his good friend, the three beast warriors. Since Levi's death, there are only 2 of the 3 beast warriors left. It can be said that both of them have weaknesses, one is weaker than the other. Lin Chen had already had this idea in mind. In the past few days, Lin Chen had been inquiring about the whereabouts of the 2 people after work. Whenever he had time, he would scurry around the imperial capital. Combining the intelligence network of the Revolutionary Army, Lin Chen finally found the whereabouts of Datas. According to the intelligence, Datas avoided the limelight for a few days after Liwa's death, but when Lin Chen didn't make any move for a few days, Datas relaxed his vigilance, thinking that he was just seeking revenge on Liwa. After all, they were the 3 beasts. The soldiers are directly protected by Esdeath, the strongest person in the empire, and no one in the entire empire will specifically hunt them. And Datas himself is a person who has no power at all, and no one will trouble him at all. Will you exercise under a waterfall on the outskirts of the imperial capital every afternoon? Lin Chen greeted Najixadin and prepared to go for the assassination. Naturally, Najixadin knew that Lin Chen had been looking for the 3 beast warriors. She had always been curious about why Lin Chen took the initiative to trouble the Taigu user. Fighting with the Taigu user was very dangerous. Night raids would try to avoid fighting with the Taigu user. Faced with Najixadin's question, Lin Chen said with dignity and awe, the 3 beastmen are Esdeath's subordinates. I heard that the boss once worked with Esdeath, so you know that sooner or later our revolutionary army will fight with Esdeath. Esdeath is hostile, and the 3 beast warriors will be our enemies sooner or later. I want to eradicate the 3 beast warriors in advance while Esdeath is still fighting the aliens in the north. Quote. Najixadin touched her prosthetic limbs. She lost her right hand and right eye after fighting with Esdeath. She said with lingering fear, Esdeath is really a terrifying enemy. Najexi did not expect that Lin Chen would not only work hard, but also take the initiative to work overtime and take the initiative to find trouble for the Taigu user. What kind of good employee is this? The Taigu user is still very dangerous. Chen Shi, are you sure about it? Do you want to call others with you? No problem, I've killed even Leva. Datas is not a big deal, just treat it as a private action and don't bother everyone to face the Taigu user. Well, I'll wait for your triumphant return. Lin Chen persuaded Najixadin to give up the idea of sending other members of the night attack to join, and decided that Lin Chen would do it privately. Lin Chen was sure that once other night raid members joined, this Taigu would definitely be handed over. It wasn't that it couldn't be handed in, but mainly because Lin Chen was worried that the 15,000 camp contribution would be greatly reduced. After all, Lin Chen did not do it alone. With Paradise's usual style, it is very likely that Lin Chen would be tricked. Otherwise, Lin Chen would call 6 Imperial Guard members to attack at night, and the camp's contribution would be directly taken away. There could be such a beautiful thing. Lin Chen was walking on the streets of the imperial capital. It was a coincidence that the waterfall in the suburb where Data's was located happened to correspond to the night attack stronghold across the imperial capital. One was on the left and the other was on the right. Lin Chen had to cross the entire imperial capital to reach his destination. Data's was considered to be very lucky. If he changed direction, Night Raid would not tolerate a Taigu user wandering around the stronghold every day, and would definitely take action to clean him out. Lin Chen passed by the street and saw a large number of people tied to crosses. They were all ordered to be executed for various reasons. Daily public executions are a feature of the imperial capital. This is the fate of the unlucky ones like Oka who found him before. There are all kinds of unlucky people here. Lin Chen shook his head. This empire will end sooner or later. I remember that there was an executioner in the plot. Because he had been killing innocent people for more than 10 years, he finally went crazy. He killed the warden and took away his imperial weapon and escaped. Because running around killing people in the empire is called Zhang the Beheader. Calculating the time, it's time to come to the imperial capital. It's decided. After killing Data's, we will go find trouble with Zhang. Lin Chen was particularly interested in the imperial weapon that beheaded Zhang, five-sided omnipotent observer. He had never seen the see-through function. Lin Chen wanted to try to see if it could really see through. What is the specific perspective effect? Ahem, cough, cough, mainly the spirit of scientific inquiry. Lin Chen removed the bad waste from his mind. He was a good young man who was sworn in with gambling and drugs. Putting aside his illusions about the Taigu, five-sights omnipotent observer, Lin Chen arrived at his destination. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, at the 100-meter waterfall. A waterfall of hundreds of meters fell from the sky, like a silver dragon emerging from the sky. A white light flashed across the sky, cutting the entire silver dragon in half. A strong man with yellow hair raised his hand to catch the whirling axe. The strong man glanced at the visitor's sword and asked curiously, "Are you the assassin who assassinated Liwa?" "Yes." Data's shook his head and said, "It doesn't look like it, but there is no assassin as arrogant as you." "Then you've seen it now, take action. Only one of us can survive today, so let's use the sword to decide life and death." Lin Chen slowly pulled out the Qinghong sword. The imperial weapon, two great axes Belvic, was different from Liwa's water dragon pony Black Marin. It had no flaws and it was difficult to restrain it. Sneak attacks have little meaning for this kind of character. After all, strength is what matters in the paradise. Data's is a very good opponent, with just the right strength. He is a pure warrior. In the anime, he will even take the initiative to give his opponent Taz. MI provides weapons, so it would be perfect for such opponents to use swords to decide the outcome. Haha, I have been practicing to become the strongest in the world. It's rare to see such an interesting opponent like you. Defeating you will definitely gain a lot of experience points. Data's HP 100%, Energy 210 210ths, Strength 84, Agility 41, Constitution 47, Intelligence 21, Charisma 7, Skill 1, Axe Mastery. The power of axe weapons is increased by 30%. Skill 2, Throwing Mastery. The power, speed and accuracy of throwing weapons are increased by 25%. Skill 3, Extraordinary Strength. Strength plus 15 points. Skill 4, Victor. Each time you defeat a strong enemy, your attributes will be permanently improved. Imperial Tool. Two great axes Belvic. Effect 1. Blessed by the Imperial equipment, the strength is increased to 1.5 times. Effect 2. Split, can split into two axes. Effect 3. Tracking, you can keep tracking until the power disappears. Effect 4. Speed control, you can control the flying speed of the axe. Effect 5. Cation, once hit, power plus 200%, armor breaking plus 30%. Although Data's is Brand's one-shot weapon in the plot, he can actually be selected by the Taigu. At least one attribute exceeds 50 points, plus the blessing of the god's equipment. In other words, the power of Data's is at least 75 points. And two great axes Belvac is an imperial weapon with full attack power. When intercepting the former minister in the anime, it easily cut through a dozen heavy armored guards. Lin Chen silently analyzed the intelligence and came to the conclusion, we must not confront the enemy head-on. The 15,000 camp contribution points in the park are really hard to earn. Lin Chen was beaten by Taigu so hard that he ran away with his head in his arms. He tried to use the Qinghong sword to catch Data's axe, but left a small gap in the Qinghong sword on the spot. Lin Chen felt very distressed, as if he saw a large amount of game coins disappearing. To be honest, if Lin Chen's Qinghong sword hadn't been strengthened by +6, and its main feature was that it was strong and sharp, ordinary green weapons would have been broken long ago. I want to accumulate experience points through fighting. Datas laughed and said, in order to become the strongest. Fight more. Perceive, grasp the distance. No, I can't keep up with the speed. Start flowing water acceleration. Lin Chen began to sweat on his forehead and used all his strength to use magic movement to dodge the attacks of the two spinning axes. Left, wrong. Lin Chen's right arm and chest were slashed by the spinning axe before he could dodge in time, and blood spurted out. Health, 75%. It's impossible to get close. If you continue like this, you'll die. Lin Chen threw smoke bombs as cover. Oh, have you lost your sight? Data's recovered 2 swing axes. Don't throw the swing axe randomly when you lose sight, as it can easily hurt your hands. Shine of brilliance. A ball of light appeared in Lin Chen's hand, and the ring began to flash. When he pressed the ball of light to the scratched area, the blood began to stop and the wound began to heal. Soon Lin Chen's health returned to 100%. The wound would affect Lin Chen's activities and must be treated as soon as possible if possible. Lin Chen took out a scroll from the storage space. Silently recite the incantation. Use. Datas felt something was wrong, and the water vapor under his feet began to change. This is an ice pick. Datas's pupils began to shrink, and he barely escaped from the vital point. The ice pick scratched his abdomen and left scratches. Besides the Shogun's Taigu, are there any other Taigu that can control the power of ice? It's impossible. How can there be 2 similar Taigu? Datas was puzzled. He looked at the smoke around him vigilantly. He knew that Lin Chen was hiding in it. Flash bombs. Bait bombs. Lin Chen held 3 flash bombs and hid them in the smoke. Datas was so vigilant that he was hit without any surprise. A vast expanse of white, this is a typical sequelae of flash bombs. When your vision is completely white, there is no doubt that you must have been hit by a flash bomb. Buzz buzz. Although Data's eyes could no longer be used, he tried hard to use his ears and perception instead. However, it was obvious that the bait bombs Lin Chen threw were just for this moment. 2 ice picks streaked across the sky, hitting Datas, who was struck by lightning and deafened by the smoke. My money. The ice cone scroll in Lin Chen's hand turned into ashes, and the 3 uses were exhausted. It's not over yet. Mental shock, revenge mark, Jade B needle. Lin Chen was unreasonable and took advantage of the flash of light to throw out a bunch of skills and hidden weapons. Poor Datas forced himself to eat Lin Chen's despicable and shameless combo. My whole body felt extremely itchy, my head was dizzy, and my arms and thighs were all hit by Lin Chen's ice cone technique. Data's frostbite, bleeding, blinding, Jade B venom, mark of revenge. HP, 47%. Very good. Lin Chen rushed over and slashed with the Qinghong sword. At this time, he had to attack head-on and not give the enemy a chance to adjust. Datas held 2 axes and barely stopped the Qinghong sword. He didn't dare to throw the spinning axe at all now. He was so itchy that he couldn't catch the spinning axe at all. Facing Lin Chen's tidal attack, Datas could only struggle to hold on, as precarious as a lonely boat in the sea. Ding! After Datas blocked the Qinghong sword, the door opened wide. Good chance. The green rainbow sword suddenly thrust out in an instant, as if it turned into a black light and flew towards Data's throat. The harsh sound of breaking through the air showed the speed and power of this sword. Danger. The hairs all over Datas's body exploded, and his headache-inducing brain warned him that if he couldn't stop it, he would die. In desperation, the instincts trained for many years were faster than his thoughts, and the taigu on his hands returned to his throat in an extremely twisted posture. Ding! Blocked. Datas breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Chen smiled slightly, turned the stabbing into cutting, and chopped off Data's right hand. Ah! Huge pain came from the severed hand, and Datas let out an astonishing scream. Lin Chen kicked his right leg straight and hit Data's hard in the abdomen. Data's flew more than 10 meters and hit the rock wall hard, making a small crater. Lin Chen was 100% confident, it's definitely broken. I even kicked out yesterday's meal for you. Data's, who was lying on the ground, cursed angrily, this is what you call a duel with a sword. I'll fight with a hammer. He had a lot of affection for this upright assassin before. Give him back his emotion. Lin Chen touched the back of his head and said, just tell me if what I'm holding now is a sword. Lin Chen helplessly spread his hands. He deliberately came here in an upright manner just to leave a good and upright impression on Data's. It seemed that he failed to retain it after all. Oh, the world misunderstands me so much. That's all, I'll treat you to a Molotov cocktail. Lin Chen threw a Molotov cocktail towards Data's, who was unable to move. The raging fire began to wrap around his body. Data's let go of the Imperial weapon, 2 great axes Belvic, that he was holding tightly in his left hand, and began to roll on the ground and howl. Jade Bee Needle, Jade Bee Needle, Jade Bee Needle. Lin Chen's hands were not idle, and he stabbed all 10 Jade Bee needles into Data's body. After all, it was free, so if he didn't use it, it would be a waste of refreshments. When Data's couldn't move, Lin Chen stepped forward and chopped off his head with a sword. Data's died in the fire and Jade Bee needles, and he never closed his eyes. Lin Chen muttered in a low voice, isn't this to prevent a dying counterattack? What's wrong with being careful? 1 scroll was also saved. Lin Chen touched the Abyss Snake scroll in the storage space. This was a waterfall area, and the Abyss Snake was perfect for it. Alas, he died by my sword after all. Data's, have a good journey. Hint, you killed the 3 beast warriors. Data's. Tip, you got the treasure chest blue. Tip, you have obtained the Taigu 2 great axes Belvac. Tip, Taigu is an important prop in the world. 2 big axes Belvic. Place of origin, cut crimson eyes. Quality, purple. Category, weapons. Durability, 100 100ths. Attack power, 253 to 351 two-handed weapons. Equipment requirements, strength above 50 points and tacit understanding up to standard. Rating, 150 purple extreme. Equipment effect 1. Imperial equipment blessing, power increased to 1.5 times, cannot exceed 200 points. Equipment effect 2. Split, it can split into 2 axes, and the attack power is half of what it is with both hands. Equipment effect 3. Tracking, you can keep tracking until the power disappears. Equipment effect 4. Speed control, you can control the flying speed of the axe. Equipment effect 5. Cation, once hit, power plus 200%, armor breaking plus 30%. Introduction. One of the 48 Imperial tools of the Millennium Empire, the Imperial weapon of the axe can only be wielded by those with extraordinary arm strength, but the corresponding attack power is also extremely strong. It can be separated into 2 axes from the middle and thrown, as long as there is still strength, can track the enemy. Note, Taigu is a core item in the game world and cannot be brought back to the World Game Park. 15,000 camp contribution points obtained. On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, the stronghold was attacked at night. Najixidin said happily. Well done, Chen Shi, I didn't expect you to kill Data's so quickly. If this continues, only Niu will be left among the 3 beast warriors. That woman Esdeath is conquering the foreign tribes in the north. With an army of 400,000 and the brave warrior of the north, Numa Seka, she won't be able to come back for at least a year. We can definitely seize the opportunity to eradicate the last Niu. Niu's Taigu is too powerful when combined with the army. When all 3 beast warriors are dead, obtaining his Taigu is of great significance to the revolution. Lin Chen said helplessly, I'm afraid not. I don't think the northern aliens can hold Esdeath back for a year. Her imperial gear has incredible power in the ice and snow environment. It's even possible that Esdeath has defeated the northern aliens and is returning, on the way. Niu is not a fool, she will definitely hide and wait for Esdeath's return. After hearing this, Najixidin sighed. That Taigu is indeed powerful and a powerful enemy of our revolution. I can only do my best. I will try my best to send people to search for Niu's whereabouts. No matter what, we must just give it a try. Are you sure about the news that Esdeath will be back soon? Lin Chen nodded. I'm sure that the brave of the north is no match for Esdeath. Lin Chen's mouth twitched when he thought of the fate of the northern brave. When he first watched the anime, he thought he was a master when he first appeared, but Nagiasi said frankly, I believe you. I plan to go back to the Revolutionary Army headquarters to see if I can find some more support. I hope there will be a good result. Lin Chen returned to his room, and finally came to Lin Chen's favorite round, opening the treasure box. Rubbing his hands together excitedly, Lin Chen took out the treasure box from the storage space. They are Arya's treasure chest white, Captain Okar's treasure chest green, and Data's treasure chest blue. Hint: you opened the treasure chest white. Hint: you have obtained the heart of the hypocrite white. Tip: you got 500 game coins. Hint: you opened the treasure chest green. Tip: you have obtained the guard summoning token green. Tip: you got 1000 game coins. Hint: you opened the treasure chest blue. Tip: you have obtained the throwing mastery scroll blue. Tip: you got 3000 game coins. The heart of a hypocrite. Place of origin: cut crimson eyes. Quality: white. Category: necklace. Durability: 100/100. Equipment requirements: female. Rating: 10. White full rating. Equipment effect 1. Angelic smile. The user can slightly increase human affinity after smiling. Cooling time: 1 natural day. Special effect 1. Devil's heart. When the player deceives and succeeds, the deceived object will receive a random curse. It can be activated at any time after the deception is successful. The curse effect is the player's intelligence. The maximum limit does not exceed 50 points. The cooling time is 3 natural day. Introduction: the smile of an angel, the heart of a devil, and the bones of a hypocrite. It was a very strange piece of equipment, and Lin Chen had a mixed look on his face. In short, he couldn't use it, and the style didn't suit him. Cheating is too difficult for an innocent boy. Players who follow the charm trend will probably like it. It was difficult to judge the price, and Lin Chen was very confused. Ignore it, I will put it on the market and give it a try. Guard Force Summoning Token. Place of origin: cut crimson eyes. Quality: green. Category: special props. Durability: none. Equipment requirements: 10 points or more of charm. Rating: 27. Equipment effect 1. The guard listens to the order and summons 3 members of the guard. The weapons include guns and swords. There is no personal awareness. The summoning attributes are determined by the user's charm. The highest attribute cannot exceed 50 points. Maintenance consumes 10 energy points per minute. Can be recycled at any time. The recovery effect is related to intelligence, death and rebirth time, 1 natural day. Introduction: take this token and you will be the new captain of the Imperial Guard. You will eradicate evil, protect the citizens, and justice will prevail. A rare summoning prop. Lin Chen's charm was as high as 14 points, and it happened to meet the conditions, so Lin Chen used it with great interest. Call the guards. 3 summoning circles emerged, and 3 men with guns and swords appeared in front of Lin Chen. Based on the player's charm effect, the summoned object gains the following attributes. Members of the guard. HP: 100%. Energy value: 10 out of 10. Strength: 9. Agility: 7. Constitution: 8. Intelligence: 1. Charisma: 7. Skill: 1. Combat instinct: possess a certain level of combat instinct. The specific effect is based on LV5. Equipment: Type 31 musket white, ordinary iron sword white. How should I put it? You're so weak. Lin Chen shook his head. He was only a little better than the civilians. He even disliked being a cannon fodder and running slowly. Of course, it's not that the token is bad, it's still a green piece of equipment, but Lin Chen's charm is too low. No, it's probably because my charm is too high. I didn't add any attribute points to my charm. Now I can even use charm style props. Lin Chen was so proud that even Token admitted that he was very charming. Looking at these 3 stupid dolls, Lin Chen waved his hand to cancel the summons and put it into the storage space. This token was also for sale. Let's look at the same thing again. Scroll of Throwing Mastery. Place of origin: cut crimson eyes. Quality: blue. Category: skill book. Requirements for use: possess the expertise, throwing basics and be at full level. Rating: 61. Effect: allows the player to gain the feat, Throwing Mastery. Introduction. With just one click, you can gain Throwing Mastery. Lin Chen was no stranger to this kind of scroll. 2 basic sword skill scrolls green were still lying in his storage space and could not be sold. However, blue quality props are not as cheap as green quality ones. In the hands of a needy person like Lin Chen, his value is a precious soul fragment, small, and 1,000 game coins. It is no problem to put it on the market to exchange for a soul fragment, small. However, Lin Chen naturally used this kind of good thing for himself. There is nothing more cost-effective than personal use. Hint: you use the Throwing Mastery scroll. Tip: players gain expertise, Throwing Mastery. Throwing Mastery. LV1 Passive. Expertise effect. Increase the power of throwing props by 20%, and the proficiency of throwing weapons. Lin Chen's second mastery level expertise. Hey, flash bombs, Molotov cocktails, jade bee needles, the next enemies are blessed, they can try my upgraded version. Lin Chen felt that he had the illusion that he was always on target. To put it bluntly, throwing proficiency is an important part of Lin Chen's combat power. Next is the highlight: Lin Chen comes to the Revolutionary Army Night Raid Temporary Logistics Branch. Boss, I'm here to pick up the customers and collect the Taigu. Lin Chen showed the Taigu he had just obtained. Tip: the Revolutionary Army Night Raid Logistics Department wants to recycle the Imperial Equipment 2 Great Axes Belvac with 15,000 camp contribution points. Recycle. Tip: players receive 15,000 camp contribution points. Lin Chen's camp contribution currently reaches 21,000. Lin Chen was faced with a difficult decision, whether to keep this contribution and save it to exchange for soul fragments, small, or exchange it for equipment to strengthen his combat power. 21,000 camp contribution points are enough for Lin Chen to change into a blue outfit. Lin Chen hesitated and finally decided to change his equipment. His combat prowess was obviously not enough in the Crimson Eyes slasher. Not only was his attribute value incomparable, but the Imperial weapon wielder had a purple piece of equipment, which was far beyond what Lin Chen could compare to. Since I can get 2 pieces of Taigu, I will definitely get more. I can't bear to let my child catch the wolf. Lin Chen carefully looked through the list of blue equipment. Although the equipment Tong Yimenji was good, it conflicted with Lin Chen's Qinghong sword. Although Lin Chen's Qinghong sword was only of green quality, the enhancement +6 was enough for Lin Chen to use. Lin Chen thought of the Qinghong sword and immediately cursed. By the way, the Qinghong sword still needs to be repaired. Remember, I just got a few cuts from the Taigu. Just choose this one, I hope you won't disappoint me. Tip: the player spends 20,000 camp contribution points to exchange for the equipment, Smash King. Official tool Smashing King. Place of origin: cut Crimson Eyes. Quality: blue. Category: arm guards. Durability: 100/100s. Attack power: 50 to 90. Equipment requirements: strength above 30 points. Rating: 70. Blue extreme. Equipment effect 1. Monster power: strength plus 20 points, cannot exceed 100 points. Equipment effect 2. Crush: the impact force can also penetrate into the target, causing internal injuries to the opponent. Special effect 1. Tornado: hurting yourself before hurting others, converging the air to produce a powerful cyclone full blow, power plus 200%. Introduction: a gauntlet-type weapon that gives the wearer special powers, but if used improperly, it can also cause harm to oneself. It had been shattered, but had been repaired by skilled craftsmen using O'Harry steel. The weapon that appeared in the side story, Crimson Eyes 0, the weapon used to assassinate No. 3 Cornelia of the 7, was shattered by Takeo of the Revolutionary Army. Lin Chen guessed that it was repaired by someone from the Revolutionary Army. Lin Chen looked at the gauntlet that appeared in front of him with a blue light and was very satisfied. Official equipment: Shattering King is all black and gold, and the connection between the fingers and the wrist is very delicate. Lin Chen tried to move his fingers, but it had no effect at all. It is indeed the essence of the Empire. The perfect streamlined armor covered Lin Chen's entire right hand to the arm joints, making him look very handsome. Moreover, the official tool, Smashing King, does not affect Lin Chen's holding of the Qinghong sword, but also greatly strengthens Lin Chen's lack of fighting ability. What is the concept of strength plus 20 points? It is equivalent to adding 2 levels out of thin air. Lin Chen's current strength will reach an astonishing 70 points. From now on, when facing the Imperial equipment user, Lin Chen will have it as long as it is not a power-type Imperial equipment. Gain the confidence to confront others head-on. 20 points of strength is sometimes the difference between life and death. Imperial capital, Royal Palace. Minister Ernest was surprised and said, "What did you say? The 3-beast warrior Datas is dead." The minister's confidants, the 4 Rakshasa ghosts, reported, "Our men found the body of Datas beside the waterfall on the outskirts of the imperial capital. He died in a strange way. There were traces of fire, ice, and poison on his body. He was finally beheaded. The Taigu was also taken away." Interesting, so interesting. I really want to know Esdeath's expression now. I heard that Esdeath has conquered the northern aliens and is coming back soon. What happened to Niu of the 3 beastmen? G, one of the 4 ghosts of Rakshasa, replied, "I was about to report to you, when I heard the news that the other 2 were killed. Niu no longer dared to go out alone. He is now a guest in the center of our department." The minister nodded and said, "Protect Niu, lest Esdeath comes back and go crazy. I can't stop her." The minister took a happy attitude towards the death of the 3 beast warriors. Although he had a cooperative relationship with Esdeath, it would not hurt him to weaken Esdeath's power. He even said that losing the support of the 3 beast warriors would Esdeath will instead increase cooperation with him. The minister laughed and said, "Send the news to Esdeath as soon as possible. As an ally, I have to provide support." Yes. The northern part of the empire, the far north. The extremely cold wind blew through the city, and countless people in the city wearing cotton-padded coats and holding weapons were frozen into ice sculptures. This is very strange. Although it is cold in the far north, it is still far from the point where even wearing a cotton-padded jacket will be frozen into an ice sculpture. Shah, ha, a muscular, naked man knelt on the ground and licked a pair of snow-white military boots. If anyone in the know saw the man's face, they would be shocked to find that it was Numasaka, the prince of a foreign nation from the north, who was called the Brave of the North. He is victorious in every battle and is the god of war in the hearts of countless people. But at this moment, he is naked and licking his boots on the snow. The Brave of the North is so boring. Esdeath played with the chain in her hand and looked at the puppy-like man on the ground, full of boredom. Wearing a snow-white military uniform highlights her perfect figure. Gorgeous silver-blue long hair, deep ice-blue eyes, exquisite and perfect facial features, a queen-shaped oval face, crystal-white skin, a proud figure, a domineering and powerful aura, and an infinite charm that seduces people's hearts. In the previous life on Earth, Lin Chen was sure that a bunch of people would yell, "Sister, kick me. I want to be Esdeath's, an animal." Esdeath's subordinates complimented him. He defeated the northern minority in an instant. He is worthy of General Esdeath. It's boring, go to hell. Esdeath kicked the licking dog into a dead dog. I heard that Leva and Datas, who were left behind in the imperial capital, are dead. You are really weak. Sure enough, the weak will die eventually. They will die because they are not strong enough. However, as a subordinate, I will bear their hatred together. Perhaps the emperor has enemies who can satisfy me. Let's set off and return to the imperial capital immediately. Yes, the adjutant asked. General, what should we do with the 400,000 prisoners? Esdeath wrote lightly. Bury them all to save wasting food. All. Even though the adjutant has been following Esdeath for many years, this is the first time he has given an order to bury 400,000 people alive, but the general's order must be obeyed. Looking at Esdeath, the ice goddess of everyone, standing proudly in the snow, the adjutant has never thought of kissing fangs. It can even be said that the thought of it is so scary that he is close to death. Esdeath looked at the imperial capital from a distance and chuckled. I'm back, the imperial capital. A young woman begged, please, don't kill me. She regretted very much in her heart. Why did she think of running into a deserted alley with her boyfriend to live in a world of two? Her boyfriend, who had just returned their vows, was lying at her feet in a pool of blood, while her tears kept dripping on her boyfriend's face. The tall man replied, No, it's all your fault for being out and about at this time. Did your parents warn you? There are scary monsters coming out at night. As the man spoke, his grip on the woman's neck became stronger and stronger. His eyes were filled with smiles as he looked at the woman being picked up with one hand. If you spare my life, I will do anything. The woman tried her best to show off her beautiful appearance and figure. Today she went on a date with her boyfriend. She wore a white skirt and exposed her white arms. She just wants to live, no matter what. The fear of death can overwhelm everything. The man chuckled and said, I am a talkative person, can you chat with me? The woman was overjoyed and said, I can. So how does it feel to separate your head and body? Is it a little painful? The woman didn't react. What the hell was this question? Ah. The man slashed the woman's neck with the knife in his hand at lightning speed. Holding the woman's head and laughing, he said, I'm so happy, I really can't stop. The couple fell soundlessly to the ground at his feet. The bustling place of the imperial capital, the flower street, the pavilion of bliss. Lin Chen sat by the window and looked at the sky outside the window and complained, isn't there a normal moon in this world? The blood-red moon looks weird. He mainly came here tonight to keep tabs on him. He just finished killing Datas last afternoon, and tonight he went to Flower Street to keep tabs on them. Is there a more diligent killer than him in the world? Looking at the long-legged lady dancing in the hall, no, it's the new Imperial Guard Captain Mice next to her long-legged lady. As the new captain of the Imperial City Guard, Ms. naturally came to the Paradise Pavilion every day to spend money like his predecessor. If he didn't come, he wouldn't be giving the minister face. Seeing that Missy's highest attribute was only in his early 30s, Lin Chen shook his head. Why are they better than each other? This Missy has more vegetables than Oka. This also makes it easier for Lin Chen to monitor. No matter what, the Imperial City Guards are the local gangsters of the Imperial City, and their intelligence capabilities are better than Lin Chen alone. According to the plot, Lin Chen estimated that Zhang the beheading will come to the Imperial capital in these few days. He will kill people everywhere, including many members of the security team, which will definitely alert the captain of the security team. Lin Chen believed that as long as he kept an eye on the captain of the Imperial City Guard, he could quickly find Z-Head Zhang. Aren't you going to come out tonight? That's all, let's just relax for a day and watch the young lady dance. There is a saying that the fact that the Paradise Pavilion is #1 in Flower Street is not all due to the minister's power. He still has a few brushes. Wait, there's something going on, it seems the target has appeared. Lin Chen noticed that many members of the security team came to Missy to say something. It's not good, Captain. Many brothers had their heads chopped off while patrolling the streets. After hearing the reports from his breathless subordinates, Ms. was furious. He was so angry that he finally took the position after Oka was hacked to death. He hasn't sat on his butt for a few days, and giving him this kind of love work is a naked provocation to him. Mies shouted, call everyone immediately, I want to see who is doing the trick. Lin Chen quietly followed Captain Mies and left the Paradise Pavilion. This is it. The method of being beheaded is exactly the same. It seems that Zhang left not long ago. What should we do next? Lin Chen came to the scene of the crime and was a little at a loss as he watched the busy members of the security team looking for clues everywhere. With the ability of the Emperor's 5 sights omnipotent observer, no one can catch Zhang the beheader if he doesn't want to. Lin Chen had no choice but to wander around here, wherever it was remote. Zhang the beheader is a very proud and cautious person. If he finds out that Lin Chen is looking for him, as long as he confirms that there is no ambush, there is a high chance that he will show up on his own initiative. Lin Chen walked around for a full 2 hours, exploring all the streets and alleys. It looks like you are looking for me. Just when Lin Chen was about to get into the next deserted alley, a deep voice sounded from behind. Lin Chen turned around and saw a man wearing a shabby military coat, with yellow hair, a height of 1.9 meters, and headphones on his ears. The most eye-catching thing is the green pupils on his forehead. Oh, it seems you are really looking for me. Zhang confirmed this by observing Lin Chen's micro-expressions. Zhang, HP, 100%. Energy, 900/900. Strength, 43. Agility, 48. Constitution, 42. Intelligence, 90. Charisma, 7. Skill 1. Proficient in two-handed swords, the power of sword weapons is increased by 30%. Skill 2. Beheading. Beheading thousands of executioners, the power of attacking the head is increased by 50%. Skill 3. Strong, strength, agility, constitution plus 10 points. Skill 4. Strong martial arts, accumulated rich practical experience, reaction plus 20% during combat, has a certain chance of seeing through the opponent. Taigu. 5 visions and omnipotence observer. Effect 1. Blessed by the imperial equipment, intelligence is increased by 1.5 times. Effect 2. Insight. Insight into people's hearts, you can know what the other person is thinking by seeing their expression. Effect 3. Farsightedness, whether at night or in fog, whether far or near, you can see clearly. Effect 4. Perspective, you can see the target regardless of obstacles. Effect 5. Future vision, through small changes in muscles, you can see the future a few seconds later. Effect 6. Vision, the person most important to you will appear in front of the opponent's eyes. It has a great hypnotic effect and can make the opponent forget reality and indulge in fantasy. Happy, happy, a little kid came to me. Aren't you afraid of death? Lin Chen chuckled and said, of course I want to kill you. Zhang was surprised and said, oh, the little kid has a good figure. Lin Chen's face darkened, and the momentum that he had just controlled everything could no longer be maintained. This Zhang used his Taigu's see-through ability to look around. Lin Chen looked like he was naked in front of him. When he thought of this, Lin Chen's hair stood up. His body was looked at completely, and it was also looked at by a middle-aged uncle, who also made comments from afar. You tell others you want to kill him, and others say you have a good figure. Zhang, I'm going to hack you to death. Have fun. Lin Chen broke through the defense, made a move with his right hand, raised the Qinghong sword and slashed. The blood moon is in the sky. Lin Chen was wearing a night cloak and the black and gold armor on his hands was particularly handsome. Have fun. You are so happy. I admire you. Lin Chen wanted to tear out Zhang's mouth right now. Lin Chen knew that Zhang's character in the anime was a talkative one, but he never expected that using the Taigu 5 Sights Omnipotent Observer would allow people to break their defenses like this. Zhang laughed and said, so enthusiastic, good evening. What a pleasure. Do you think you can attack me while I'm talking? It's impossible, it's meaningless in front of my Taigu. I have completely seen through your heart through your expression. Of course it's useless even if you cover your face. It's just a joke to hinder me in front of my Taigu. Lin Chen naturally knew that the Taigu 5-sided omnipotent observer also had the function of perspective, and he had never thought about wearing a mask or anything like that. Take a step forward, then slash from the right. The sword was stabbed straight into my throat with the backhand. The downward attack is just an illusion. In fact, the attack is from above. Zhang Ke smiled ferociously and said, that's what you think. Lin Chen slowly retrieved the Qinghong sword. The feeling of being completely seen through was really unpleasant. All the tricks were meaningless. However, Lin Chen subconsciously glanced at Zhang's weapon. Under Lin Chen's 70 points of strength and the attack of the Qinghong sword, Zhang's weapon could not last long. Oh, you want to kill me by cutting off my weapon? You're so naive. From the first moment I saw you, your thoughts were exposed. Before my imperial weapon, 5-sided omnipotent observer, all strategies are useless. Even if you enter a state of mindlessness, I can still see your future actions through future vision. Zhang frantically exposed his abilities. As a talkative person, he couldn't control his desire to talk, and he didn't think Lin Chen, a person who didn't even have an imperial gear, could leave alive. Lin Chen recalled his methods and was completely restrained. Smoke bombs would be seen through, flash bombs would be detected, and the jade bee needle was meaningless in front of someone who could see through the future. It's really tricky. It's much harder to kill than the first 2 Taigu users. Lin Chen looked solemn, but he knew Zhang's information and still dared to hunt him, so he was naturally confident. The sight of your head being chopped off will definitely make people excited and want to stop. In the past, the most unexpected thing about the skulls was the blank expression, as if they didn't know what was going on. What expression will you make? Have fun. Lin Chen replied. I want to know more about what expression you will show. Martial skills accelerating water flow, magical movement and various changes. Lin Chen had to put enough pressure on Zhang. Only in this way could he seize the chance of victory. Oh, it's much faster than before. I like you more, then add your head to my collection of decorations. It makes me happy to see your firm eyes. Zhang blocked Lin Chen's attack lightly. Lin Chen, who was attacking crazily at this moment, could draw a tie with Zhang with the help of his skills. Zhang realized that if he continued to fight like this, his weapon would not be able to hold up. It's really crazy. You know what? When I'm silent I can hear the voices of the people I've killed. That's the moaning sound coming from hell. They hate me and keep telling me to go there. It looks like your voice will be added soon. It's really enjoyable. Vision. The pupils on Zhang's forehead lit up. This was Zhang's trump card. Yiling Shui's figure appeared in front of Lin Chen's eyes. Zhang was very proud. At this time, Lin Chen would regard him as the most important person. If it was just a pure illusion, it would have no effect. People are not fools. But the vision of the Imperial equipment, 5 Visions Omnipotent Observer, lies in its extremely strong hypnotic ability. Even if Lin Chen was fighting a middle-aged uncle before, he would not doubt Yiling Shui's authenticity at this moment, no matter how unreasonable. For example, Yiling Shui is not a player at all and cannot appear in the game world. At this moment, Zhang was Yiling Shui, the most important person in Lin Chen. Lin Chen looked at the girl in front of him with a look of nostalgia on his face, and the Qinghong sword in his hand unconsciously drooped. Zhang looked at Lin Chen, who had no intention of fighting, smiled, and slashed at Lin Chen's neck with a knife. Die looking at the phantom of the one you love. This is the moment. Miracle, Holy Shield, Psychic Shock, King of Shatter, Tornado. Lin Chen suddenly woke up. Lin Chen naturally knew the trump card of the Emperor's 5 Sights Omnipotent Observer, but he bet that the special effect Eternal Will of the Eternal Oath upgraded to the limit of blue quality could exempt the Emperor. A hallucination. Eternal Will. The resistance to negative effects such as charm and control is greatly increased. As expected by Lin Chen, although Lin Chen fell into an illusion at the beginning, Lin Chen soon got rid of the illusion. The hanging green rainbow sword was just Lin Chen's pretense. Lin Chen looked at Zhang with a ferocious smile. It was impossible for Zhang's power to break through Lin Chen's miracle holy shield. Zhang looked at Lin Chen, who was using his neck to catch his attack, and was shocked. Oh no, and then his eyes were in a trance. This was Lin Chen's mental shock. Lin Chen relied on being nearly invincible for 5 seconds and used the special effect of the Crush King, the tornado, that he had just changed yesterday afternoon. With the emergence of the Shatter King, Lin Chen's daily combat power was strongest when he was holding the Qinghong sword, but his strongest blow had been replaced by the tornado. Lin Chen grabbed Zhang's body with a backhand with his left hand, and blasted out with all his strength with his right hand. The huge wind pressure gathered a little, which meant that Lin Chen was now in the holy shield state, otherwise Lin Chen himself would be the first to be injured. In the face of Lin Chen's 70-point power, Zhang couldn't break free at all, and directly punched Zhang's chest into a dent. Not to mention that the Smash King had a crushing effect, and Lin Chen's fists and kicks were basically at full level. 70 points of strength plus 200% increase in tornado power plus crushing effect plus 10% increase in fist and kick base. It's a pity that revenge is still cooling down, otherwise the damage could be increased by another 20%. Note: the cooling time of revenge is 3 natural days, and it was used yesterday afternoon. Zhang lay motionless on the ground. He could no longer stand up. His chest was greatly sunken. If he took a wrong step, he would lose everything. The Imperial equipment users who cut the red pupil are very extreme. Except for a few Imperial equipment such as Evil Ghost Haunted Operation Armor, Shira Incarnation Noble Chariot, and other Imperial equipment that provide defense, most of them are squishy. This is also the iron rule of Taigu. If there is a fight between Taigu owners, one of them will inevitably die. The sound has stopped. Happy, happy, happy. Zhang smiled and said, "Anyway, thank you, young man." Hint: you killed Zhang the Beheader. Tip: you got the treasure chest blue. Lin Chen stepped forward and took away Zhang's Imperial equipment. Zhang is just an executioner who is tortured by the souls of the dead all day long. Every day, the voices of the deceased's resentment, hatred, pleas for help, and wailings come from time to time in his ears. Obeying the arrangements of superiors and being forced to behead innocent people, as long as the empire still exists, there will eventually be a second Zhang. After Zank went crazy, he killed a large number of innocent people just to temporarily clear his ears. That way you'll never hear the moans again. Tip: you have obtained the Taigu 5 Visions Observer. Tip: Taigu is an important prop in the world. In the early morning, Lin Chen returned to the night attack base. After killing Zank last night, he could no longer leave the city after dark. Lin Chen didn't bother to climb over the city wall of the imperial capital, so he found an empty room to sleep in the Pavilion of Paradise. There was nothing we could do about it. Only places like Flower Street were still open late at night. Of course, just sleeping, Lin Chen was still very pure. 1, 2, hey. When I returned to the night attack base early in the morning, I saw Tasmi practicing martial arts with her upper body naked in the martial arts field. Lin Chen greeted. Hey, good morning, Tasmi, you are really hardworking. Of course, brother Chengxi, I will work hard to practice and protect my partners. Lin Chen rubbed his chin. It seemed that the encounter between Seiyu and Ease had stimulated Tasmi. Ah, brother Brand, I can't survive. My arm. Tasmi was distracted by her answer to Lin Chen, and the weapon in her hand drooped weakly. Brand, who was exercising on the side, put down the sledgehammer and shook his head. What's wrong? There's still some excess movement in your muscles. Brand pressed his hands on Tasmi's body and said, concentrate, sharpen your mind, and discard all unnecessary parts from your body's movements. Then you can get several times the power you have now. Tasmi was moved and said, brother. Brand held Tasmi's abdomen with one hand and Tasmi's shoulders with the other and affirmed, you can become stronger, leave it to me. Brand extended an invitation. Hey, Chen Shi, do you want to exercise together? No need, I have something else to do. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched, looking at the two naked guys in front of him, who were exercising closely. Please allow him to refuse. When Lin Chen thought about Brand's orientation, he felt that something was very wrong with the handsome and strong Brand in front of him. Excessive exercise is wrong. I'm going to see Seiyu, you guys continue to exercise. It was so scary that Lin Chen didn't dare to stay long. Brother Chengxi, you are back. Seiyu shouted in surprise. Lin Chen turned around and found Sha Yu and Kai Tong, both of whom were wearing aprons and looked at him in surprise. Sha Yu is wearing a long white dress, wearing a snow-capped mountain flower on her head, and her black hair is shawl. She looks pure and cute. And Kai Tong is wearing a pink apron with a cute little bear embroidered on it. A ponytail hangs down to her thighs, and her lower body reveals straight white legs. It is hard to imagine that Kai Tong, dressed as a good wife and mother, is a famous ace killer in the imperial capital. Seiyu explained. We were just preparing to make breakfast. Since Seiyu arrived, she and Chitong had prepared the food. Lin Chen smiled and said, well, we just killed a murderer from the imperial capital. The two asked with concern, Chen Shi, are you not injured? I'm not that weak, don't worry. Although Lin Chen was beaten to the point of running away with his head covered the day before yesterday, and was naked by the middle-aged uncle yesterday, in front of Sha Yu and Kai Tong, it was just a small problem, a mere imperial weapon, vulnerable to a single blow. Sometimes, a man's dignity is like this. The head can be broken, the blood can flow, and the hairstyle cannot be messed up. What's for dinner this morning? Chitong affirmed. Fried meatball rice. Lin Chen complained secretly. I am indeed the same as Tasmi, eating this early in the morning. Chitong's food culture is so terrible. After a while, Lin Chen looked at the bowl in front of him and wanted to lick it clean, and said sincerely, although I can't accept eating this kind of food so early in the morning, Kai Tong's craftsmanship is really amazing. I mainly don't want to waste food. Tasmi touched her bursting belly, looked at the two uneaten breakfasts and said strangely, hey, haven't Ma Yin and Hill gotten up yet? Chitong said calmly, well, it's a common thing. Then the two breakfasts entered Chitong's stomach at an alarming speed, which is why she still made breakfast for them knowing that they would not get up. Lin Chen looked at the 3 empty dinner plates. I still can't understand how much Chitong's belly can hold. Chitong stood up and announced, let's have tuna rice bowl for lunch today. As expected of Chitong, even though she had just finished breakfast for 3 people, the first thing she cared about was what to eat for lunch. This is the ace killer of the night attack, the ultimate beautiful girl who thinks about what to eat next every day. .. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, there is a remote forest. Naji helped a weak man and asked, "Thank you for your hard work, where are the others?" The man was bleeding all over his body and replied, "I am the only one who got here." Yeah, although she had a premonition, Naji still found it difficult to accept it. The man struggled and took out a thin red booklet from his clothes and handed it to Naji. He said with difficulty, "This is the list of powerful people who have promised to help us when we rise." Naji took the booklet seriously and confirmed, "I did accept it. Leave the rest to me." The man struggled and said, "We must, revolution." "Yeah, definitely." Naji stood up, looked at the quiet man on the ground and promised. "Although it is very uncomfortable, revolution is like this. There is no revolution without bloodshed and sacrifice." Naji has long been mentally prepared. The key thing now is not to let down the intelligence brought by the revolutionary personnel. The blood will not be shed in vain. Lin Chen came to the Revolutionary Army's night attack logistics base. With a face full of reluctance, he took out the Imperial equipment 5 Visions Omnipotent Observer. 5 Visions Observer. Place of origin, cut crimson eyes. Quality, purple. Category, props. Durability, 100/100. Equipment requirements, intelligence above 50 points, tacit understanding up to standard. Rating, 150 purple extreme. Equipment effect, slightly. Introduction. The Taigu made by the Spirit of Nightmare has 5 functions: clairvoyance, far vision, clairvoyance, future vision, and phantom vision. It is an excellent reconnaissance type Taigu. Note, Taigu is a core item in the game world and cannot be brought back to the World Game Park. To be honest, Lin Chen fell in love with this Taigu at the first sight. His heart was about to move, and he looked at the second-hand telescope used by Captain Chu in the storage space. Gap, huge gap. It's a pity that no matter how reluctant Lin Chen was to give up, he couldn't use it at all because he didn't meet the intelligence requirements, and he couldn't bring the Imperial weapon back. Tasmi could still read the original work twice, but Lin Chen could only think about it in his mind. How unfair the sky is. Lin Chen looked up to the sky and screamed. 10,000 of his thoughts were stillborn. Isn't there any way to bring the Taigu back to paradise? Tip. The Taigu is an important prop in the world and cannot be brought back. Tip. S-level rating rewards have a certain chance of obtaining Taigu-related drawings. Recycling, out of sight but out of mind. Tip. The Revolutionary Army Night Raid Logistics Department wants to recycle the Taigu 5 Vision Omnipotent Observer with 15,000 camp contribution points. Recycle. Tip. Players receive 15,000 camp contribution points. Exchange 3 pieces of Soul Fragments Small. Lin Chen looked at the 3 floating pieces of Soul Fragments Small which were exchanged for his dream love treasure. Lin Chen comforted himself sadly. I didn't lose it, it just changed its form to accompany me. Soul Fragment Small is also very fragrant. If it were to be exchanged for the Imperial weapon 2 Great Axes Belvac, Lin Chen would definitely be happy holding 3 pieces of Soul Fragments Small. But now Lin Chen couldn't feel happy anymore. Lin Chen stated in advance that he was just sad about losing an excellent reconnaissance prop. After all, high-quality reconnaissance props are very expensive, and the key is that they are not available. It's definitely not that Taigu is reluctant to use his X-Vision function. He is a good young man who is sworn in with gambling and drugs. Well, that's it. Oh, forget it, let's open the treasure box. There is still a blue box that has not been opened. Lin Chen put away that Soul Fragment Small and took out the treasure box Blue. Hint. You opened the treasure chest Blue. Tip. You have obtained the decapitation skill Blue. Tip. You got 3,000 game coins. Beheading technique. Place of origin. Cut crimson eyes. Quality. Blue. Category. Special props. Usage requirements. None. Rating. 70. Blue quality limit. Effect. Allows the player to gain the feat, decapitation. Synopsis. A deathbed gift from an executioner, who repays him with a lifetime of honed skills. Young man, I hope my ability can help you. A last-minute gift. Lin Chen looked at the scroll in front of him complicatedly. Use. A ray of light flashed into Lin Chen's mind, and Lin Chen seemed to have become an executioner who cut off countless heads. He had many insights on how to cut off heads efficiently and quickly. Tip. Players gain expertise, decapitation. Open expertise panel. Expertise. 1. Sword mastery. LV10 passive. 7. Beheading passive, not upgradable. Specialty effect. When decapitating a player, the power is increased by plus 20% and the speed is plus 50%, making it easier for you to decapitate the enemy. Lin Chen was holding the Qinghong sword. At this moment, he really wanted to try out his new expertise. Yes, call the police. 3 summoning circles emerged, and 3 men with guns and swords appeared in front of Lin Chen. Lin Chen looked at the loyal puppet in front of him and closed his eyes. A black light streaked across the sky, and a bloodline appeared on the necks of the 3 guards one after another. Lin Chen opened his eyes and was very satisfied when he saw the police force disappearing on the ground. Now he can cut off the heads of the police with his eyes closed, and he can do so faster, more accurately and more ruthlessly. It is indeed a combat expertise, so powerful. Lin Chen left the Revolutionary Army Night Raid Logistics Department, and his wallet was empty again. I'm going to ask Tasmi to repair the Green Rainbow Sword, but I didn't have time to repair it before because I had to rush to kill Zank. Lin Chen found Tasmi. Tasmi, I heard that you learned blacksmithing in the village and are an excellent blacksmith. I wonder if my long sword can be repaired. Tasmi took Lin Chen's Qinghong sword, touched the gap on it, and praised, it's such a rare and good sword. I don't know what kind of weapon can leave a gap in it. Lin Chen smiled bitterly and said, of course it's Taigu. I was hit hard by him with an axe several times when I assassinated the 3 beast warrior Datas. Tasmi patted her chest and said confidently, don't worry, if it is an ordinary craftsman, it will definitely not be repaired, but with me, Tasmi, I guarantee that it will be intact as before. However, I don't have any tools for forging at the moment. I'll go to the imperial capital tomorrow to find a blacksmith shop and ask about it. It doesn't have to be so troublesome. Brother, do you have any idea? Certainly. Brand, who was exercising next to him, said, our Revolutionary Army also has its own forging stronghold in the imperial capital, which is mainly responsible for providing weapons support to the imperial capital and surrounding revolutionaries. I'll take you there in a moment. It's not far from our stronghold. In fact, one of the functions of our night attack stronghold is to provide shelter. Brand took Lin Chen and Tasmi to the forging stronghold. The stronghold blacksmith received Lin Chen and others, and upon learning of their intention, he readily agreed to the borrowing request. It seems that there are indeed a lot of gaps, but the best you can do is repair them with ordinary materials. But because of your status as a night raider, I can make the decision and give you some ori steel. Lin Chen was overjoyed to hear that there was such a good product, which was one of the main materials of the Taigu. Tip. The stronghold blacksmith wants to provide 10 grams of ori steel with 4,000 camp contribution points. Lin Chen asked Le Paradise in a low voice, can I go into debt? Tip. Detecting player contributions. Tip. Since the player has accumulated 36,000 camp contribution points, the Revolutionary Army provides an interest-free loan of 3,600 camp contribution points. Please return it before the end of the game world. That's great. You can learn from Paradise. Look at other people's interest-free loans. What about you? Lin Chen felt the warmth of the organization. Compared with Paradise, the Revolutionary Army was simply a great philanthropist. Lin Chen said gratefully, well, thank you very much. The stronghold blacksmith replied, you're welcome, it's all for the revolution. Compared to you fighting bloody battles, taking out my collection to make some contribution to the revolution is nothing. Here, this is the legendary O'Harry steel. Just don't be too dissatisfied. Tip. The player has owed 3,000 camp contribution points to the Revolutionary Army. O'Harry steel 10 grams. Place of origin. Cut crimson eyes. Category. Material. Quality. Blue. Rating. 70. Blue extreme. Effect. A very precious metal, one of the main materials of Taigu. The light blue metal is like crystal, very beautiful. Lin Chen looked at Tasmi's work in full swing and felt a little pity that the weight was too small. Otherwise, with Tasmi's forging technology, Lin Chen would be very confident that the Qinghong sword could be upgraded to blue quality. But this is okay, the materials are borrowed using camp contribution points, and Tasmi is free. Only players like Lin Chen, who knew Tasmi could forge and were extremely grateful to him for saving his friend, could do this for free. Otherwise, it will be a huge expense to return to the park and let the park take action. Yes, I'll ask Seu to give Tasmi a snack tonight. Lin Chen was very satisfied. Green Rainbow Sword +6. Place of origin: Various Worlds Game Park. Quality: green. Category: weapons. Durability: 100/100s. Attack power: 35 to 63, increased by 3 to 4. Equipment requirements: 5 points of strength can be used, and more than 7 points of strength can be used flexibly. Rating: 30. Green weapon extreme rating. Equipment effect 1. Cutting iron like mud. This weapon has a 19% increased by 2% armor breaking effect. Special effect: strong. The strength of the sword body is increased by 70%, increased by 10%. Introduction: look at me, how much do I still look like before? After many messy modifications and enhancements, apart from the name Qinghong sword, they are already two completely different swords. Ahem, even though the sword body is painted red and black, and the blade is light blue, you have become stronger. Looking at the introduction, Lin Chen felt a little guilty. He always felt that Qinghong sword was complaining about him. What does it mean to be a mess? It is obviously made of good quality materials, but if you change it again, it will turn into blue. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.